and switch. They'll promise you one thing to get you in and then deliver far less, or something totally different once you're there. At Phil's Coins, when we say we buy, sell, and trade with honesty and integrity, that's exactly what we mean. In fact, I encourage you to shop the competition first. It will make doing business with Phil's Coins like a walk in the park. Phil's Coins, 9344 West Central.
A trusted name for quality, that's Burwell Construction. It's the spring storm season, which means rough weather could cause problems to your roof and siding. If the storms hit, remember Burwell Construction. For over 25 years, Burwell Construction has provided quality craftsmanship to Kansas homes with roofing, siding, and windows. If rough weather hits you, call 316-794-3430 or visit burwellconstruction.com.
If it's built well, it's Burwell. Burwell Construction.
This is John Sidoric with Heartland Avionics at Augusta Municipal Airport. With a $500 rebate available from the federal government for your ADSB installation, the mad rush is on. And at Heartland Avionics, we have two of the most popular brands pre-wired and ready to go, minimizing your aircraft's downtime. Heartland Avionics is also a certified dealer for many other ADSB installation options. Call Heartland Avionics or learn more at iflyaugusta.com.
Comedian Lavelle Crawford.
My mama took care of me and my sisters. She raised us the right way. She would bring no strange men in the house. She introduced them. This is your Uncle Larry. I said, I'd be like, I thought you only had 3 brothers. Shut up, it's your Uncle Larry.
Comedian Lavelle Crawford. Saturday, May 18th at Seven Clans Casino Hotel First Council.
I reckon crazy. We gonna cut your head off. I say, I don't have no neck.
Get tickets at the casino box office or sevenclans.com.
It sounds innocent enough.
I like to shop the internet thinking I'll save a few dollars.
But
when it comes to truck accessories, we spend a lot of time in our shop trying to adapt for people what they thought would be such a great deal.
With a combined 100 years of knowledge and experience, our professional sales and installation staff will help you make sure that you get the right accessories for your truck.
Have your accessories professionally installed, saving you time and headaches.
Continental Truck Accessories, 6701 South Broadway.
Here's the latest from the KQAM News Center.
Iran's supreme leader issuing a veiled threat saying it wouldn't be difficult for the Islamic Republic to enrich uranium to weapons-grade levels. This as the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad orders all non-essential, non-emergency government staff to leave Iraq immediately amid the escalating tensions with Iran. In Montgomery, Alabama legislators have given final approval to a ban on nearly all abortions. Correspondent Victor Blackwell is there for us.
It was a fiery 4-hour debate on the Alabama Senate floor, with one Democrat saying that this bill was so extreme that maybe they should consider a castration bill next. But in the end, this bill passed 26-5 overnight.
If Governor Kay Ivey signs the bill, Alabama will have the strictest anti-abortion law in the country. The Wisconsin Supreme Court hears arguments today in a lawsuit challenging restrictions lame duck Republican lawmakers placed on Democratic Governor Tony Evers last year. On Wall Street, stock futures now taking a turn to the downside. I'm Michael Toscano.
Your local weather on KQAM. Brought to you by Derby Mattress. No dancing animals, no gimmicks. Your locally owned hometown mattress store at 105 South Baltimore in Derby.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker, KQAM. For this morning, sunny and clear, high near 87 with winds gusting up to 20 miles an hour, clear and 63 tonight. Tomorrow, sunny and breezy, high around 86, winds up to 30 miles an hour, mostly clear and 66 tomorrow night with again those gusty winds. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 6:06, it's currently 61 degrees.
Wichita's home for NASCAR is the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM, KQAM. It's time for Reason.
They wanted to stand strong, but these are the same ones that when we say, hey, you run in as a Republican, can you support Republican values, please? A Republican value for $800, please. And then they end up not doing that because we kind of know where they stand on issues. So now they tried to be bold, and it was really cute watching them be bold, and they ended up caving after a couple hours, and therefore now Medicaid officially has been done, is dead for this year, and will not come back this year.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Then I'll get on my knees and pray.
a Wednesday? Really, truly, honestly, I can't believe it. It's almost already done this week. And welcome into the Voice of Reason. It is a Wednesday, a post Monday, a pre-Friday. However you want to look at it. Welcome in, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas on the Big Talker, 1480 on the AM side, 102.5 on the FM side, KQAM. It's great to have you along for the ride today. I'm Andy Hoosier. John Wright hanging out with me this morning as well, as we are getting set for the KQAM transition going on here. The operation underway. Is the transition beginning to happen?
Yeah, here we go.
Hey, there it is. John Wright, good morning, sir. How we doing?
I'm doing really good. Had a great day yesterday out there on the track with the kids, and wrap things up tonight with a award ceremony and another track season. First one feather in the book.
How many students you have in that track team?
We have 42.
Wow.
Over at CMA, Christian McCullough Academy.
There you go. That's fun. I did track 1 year, and I'm not a runner. I don't like running. I actually hate running with a passion. But at that time, I was like, I want to try pole vaulting, which then I realized that you actually have to go upside down, which I did not like.
Yeah, you have to leave the ground.
Yeah. I mean, I just thought it was a cute little jump and I'd be good. Then I realized you actually have to be upside down, like hanging onto a pole that's bending halfway. And I'm like, this is not going to end well. So I didn't do that for very long. But I was a long jumper.
Okay.
I did the long jump, and I enjoyed that until I landed wrong in the sand pit, and that's why I have a bum knee now.
That does happen.
Yeah, I heard that one.
Yeah.
But they told me that if I was going to be in track, which I should have done like the shot put or something, like, some of the Scottish different games, and do it that way. Yeah, I should have done that because I didn't even think about that. But they told me that if I was going to join, no matter what I had to do, then I had to do some type of running event.
Right. Yeah. Normally, your long jump is the opposite or companion to a sprint event.
Yeah.
Normally, but boy, that long jump, it takes a lot out of it.
It does. But so I did the 100-meter dash because I said I'm going to get this over as quickly as possible and be done with it. And that was a stretch trying to do even the.
So you weren't the 9.98 guy.
Yeah. That was cute. My PE class made me run the mile one time, and I said never again. It's great to have you along here. 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. It's a really big show because, first off, we have a heck of a lot of guests today. It's going to be a lot of fun. Coming up at the bottom of this hour live at 6:30, Congressman Ron Estes, 4th Congressional District. He's going to be joining us, and there's a reason that I wanted to get him on today, and we'll talk about that in a second. At 7:30, Sedgwick County Commissioner Jim Howell. It's Wednesday. It's the County Commission Day, which means he'll be joining us as usual. And at 8 o'clock today, I'm really excited. Do you listen to Dave Ramsey?
Every now and then.
Every now, with the financial talk. One of his Ramsey personalities came out with his new book, and it's one of the personalities we've not had on. We've had on Chris Hogan a few times, which you want to talk about a guy with a radio voice. Chris Hogan, oh my gosh, that deep voice, it's awesome. But we actually have on the other Ramsey personality, and Ken Coleman, the proximity principle, his new book that just came out. So he'll be joining us live today at 8 o'clock, which I'm really excited about. So if you're looking for a new career or a way to get into a career that you love, then this is the way to do it because he's the career expert guy. So that'll be kind of fun. So Ken Coleman will be joining us at 8 o'clock to talk about that. The reason this show is so big and important, though, is because this is my very last morning on the airwaves.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, Jim Price is going to be guest hosting the show tomorrow and Friday and on Monday, even after we do the change. And I'll be back on Tuesday. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be back on Tuesday from 11 to 2 doing the middays. But this is my very last morning, which is kind of a bittersweet thing. So we got to do a little celebration today, I think.
We've known each other for a little bit.
Yeah.
And getting on this side of the microphone, and because we've, discussed on social media some different political issues, but this is definitely a thrill for me to be involved here with this new product and be here for your send off, which is not really a send off.
It's not a send off. Yeah. Exactly, just a repositioning, but a send off from the morning says I've had a lot of fun waking everybody up first thing in the morning and getting everybody pumped up and trying to bring the energy and entertainment and talking issues. I know it's really difficult to talk issues first thing in the morning when you're trying to wake up. At the same time, I think we've done a relatively good job of it. I think a lot of people really enjoy that, and the topical issues aren't going to go away as we get to do that in the middle of the day. But it is kind of fun to talk about issues and get the kind of the flavor of what people are thinking with the topical issues of the day, isn't it?
It is, because they're sitting there with their coffee and breakfast, and they're perhaps looking at the paper or whatever or on social media, and you're in their ear.
Yeah.
And they have a chance to instantly respond when maybe later on in the day they're too busy, but they're listening.
Sure.
And this is the opportunity for them to sound off their thoughts, and you've been successful doing that, and there's no reason that it won't be successful in the afternoon.
Well, thank you. It's going to be fun, and I'm looking forward with a little more traditional style morning show with the news, weather, traffic that you're going to be bringing and waking people up. So we'll be tag teaming this bad boy, and we'll be the voices of KQAM, and it's going to be a great time. We want to hear from you today. 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK on the Shocker Pools hotlines. Again, a lot of stuff coming up today, but let me ask you this, John, especially as we talked about track,
right?
Sports. How much, on average throughout the day, do you think of sports or think of the athletics or think of the game itself? How often do you think of? Pretty frequently?
Pretty frequently,
yeah.
Yes,
I mean, I guess being a track coach, you kind of have to, right?
It never gets too far away because there's either club track or, as I mentioned, my first year with USD 259 coaching a track for public school, so it's never too far away from it.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Now, first off, the average person, and at least my generation, probably not so much the older generations, but my generation, the average attention span is about 8 to 10 seconds.
Oh, my.
Yeah. According to the latest studies, they say about 8 to 10 second attention span before we have to try and regain that attention, which is really sad, by the way, because, that does not help for a 10-minute monologue on talk radio kind of thing.
Right.
8 to 10 seconds is a short amount of time. They also say that men think of adult activities about every 7 seconds throughout the day.
Yeah, I can identify with that. Yeah,
it's okay.
I can go with that.
Yeah, with the relations between and all that good jazz. Well, the latest study, according to the Sun, reporting this, that 65% of men think of sports more frequently than they do the adult activity with their significant other.
Well, Johnny
is this
Carson
true?
does it for me, but that's just me.
Is this true? Because let me tell you something. I'm just throwing this out there. If we're thinking of sports more than the adult activity that men should be somewhat obsessed with to some degree with their significant other, then we have a serious problem in society.
We're talking about playoffs, man. We're talking about playoffs here with the NBA.
Oh, man. Now, this is coming from a guy like myself who's not necessarily the most sports active. I enjoy sports. If it's on TV, I'll maybe watch it a little bit. I used to love playing baseball. I was a big baseball guy. That was my sport. I played a couple years of football. I love NASCAR. I enjoy it, but I pay attention to my politics. But come on, man. If we have the significant other and we, as a guy, we think about that adult activity every 7, we're thinking of sports more frequently than that. I think we have lost our identity as a culture.
This is why we have timeouts.
We have timeouts, and we have some time in between there. I never thought I would see the day where this kind of story would come out. Now, this is possibly having some type of influence on my generation, where they're showing that my generation is dating less, is getting married less frequently, is actually starting the family less frequently because we're enjoying just being our individual self and going out and going on vacation and doing our thing. And my generation's not necessarily into that as much.
No, it's more of experimentation and looking inward instead of maybe outward.
Yeah.
And getting, I don't know, that 9 to 5 or that second shift perhaps take a back seat to their social life and social activity.
But really?
That's how I
really?
At least from my point of view anyway.
I don't get it. I mean, I know people love their sports, and sports are great, and it really helps the children. It helps that competitive level. It helps the teamwork. I mean, there are so many benefits to athletics.
It can be all-consuming, Andy. I'm just letting you know that.
But I mean, especially, let's think about this for a second. Kids, adolescent kids, guys that are coming into the testosterone and growing up, and are they thinking about sports more than they are that adult activity?
I would, well, just from my experience, the social activity is just the relationship. So he or she likes me, or are they gonna go to the movies with me, or let's go to the school dance with me, or we thought we had something and now we don't. It's very much on the minds of young people. that I found out in my short experience.
This is weird. This is a weird world. Today. 64, according to the study, 64% of men think about football more than they do about sex, and just 8% of men admit they think about the adult activity more than that, resulting as part of the recent survey by the Illicit Encounters to uncover the biggest myths about the adult activity for both men and women. That 76% of men think the myth is rubbish, according to the survey. Meanwhile, the women, on the other hand, do not think about it nearly as frequently as men, even still. So they have a lot more.
I would have to challenge that one. What's the difference? Are women more prone to the nurturing and relationships, and children start coming in? And do they pay less attention to the adult activity, or they're just tired all the time and can't get themselves?
Blasphemy.
Yeah,
I call shenanigans on that one. Yeah. I have the headache. Oh, I can't.
There's one of the, because there's the sports, there's the football, there's, depending on the seasonal that you mentioned, NASCAR, but the NBA, like for now, they Pacific West Coast time, it's later. Now, perhaps if you're on the East Coast, you might be able to get involved in that adult activity a little bit earlier. However, if you're a West Coast fan and you're in the Midwest, those games run past 12:30. Mama's in bed, okay?
Yeah, well, wow.
There you go.
So we're timing out the adult activities around the sporting events.
Did I say that?
Oh, man. 316-721-8255. This is a place in the world that I never thought we would be in when things trump the adult activities that you thought that most people would be like, especially guys.
Well,
and according to us, it pops in our mind at some point, I guess, about every 7 seconds.
Well, that's pretty much the case. And back in the day, Johnny Carson, how many births were recorded after Johnny Carson?
Yeah. See. Yeah, that is true. See, there you go. And the women are just laughing and saying, "Oh my gosh, really?" Yeah. 316-721-8255. We'll take a break. Oh, by the way, you know what? Let's go ahead and play this. I know it's not a Friday, but the fact that it's my final day on the mornings, and Jim Price will be filling in for me Thursday and Friday. This is kind of my Friday and our final farewell for the Friday show. So let's go ahead and play our final Friday liner here, shall we? Yeah. That's right. It's a free-for-all Friday. It's a free-for-all Wednesday as we do this today because, why not? And being the final morning that I'm on here, let's have a little fun with it. What do you say? Oh, yeah. 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK if you want to join in. It is going to be a free-for-all. We have a lot of guests today. John and I hanging out, talking about a lot of issues. There's a lot of stuff to talk about today, which is going to be definitely keep your attention, hopefully to some degree. So, hey, 8-second attention span, pay attention to that. But we do have some good stuff coming up. There was I don't know if you saw this or not, this video out of Kansas University, a student berating somebody on the right because you are part of the problem. You are, the evil, terrible capitalist, and we hate you, and just yelling and screaming at him right in the middle of campus.
Which was that one.
Yeah, so that was kind of entertaining. So we'll talk about that and the quote-unquote communist revolution trying to happen here in the United States. Is it really happening? Or not? We'll do that here in just a second. Plus, Congressman Ron Estes at the bottom of the hour that we'll get to. And GM trying to work on manufacturing plants in Missouri. The governor trying to hang on to some of those. Doesn't sound like it's going to happen. So we'll do that here in just a little bit as well. Plus, we will talk about the bill that came out of Alabama when it comes to the abortion bill, the most stringent anti-abortion bill in the country, and people are losing their minds over that one, too. So we will get to that here in just a bit. Plus, we still have a pair of tickets for your Rocklahoma that we'll give away here in just a little bit on the show as well. 21 minutes past the hour. This is The Voice of Reason on KQAM. Stay here.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Ag News, Mid-America Ag Network. I'm Craig Mead. Good morning. The United States agriculture is still waiting and pushing for the United States-Mexico-Canada trade agreement to be brought up and passed in Congress. Greg Dowd, the chief agricultural negotiator for the Office of U.S. Trade Representative, spoke to farm broadcasters this week at the National Association of Farm Broadcasters Washington Watch. He says the USMCA has passed a couple of important milestones on the way to eventual ratification.
Mexico and its legislature have made changes to its labor laws, which was kind of a prerequisite to this. It's passed their legislature, been signed, and now into law. The other one is the International Trade Commission study that was released on April the 18th. That was a big step forward in this process, and I think it, quite frankly, surprised many of us, including myself. It shows that USMCA will create or increase employment by 176,000 jobs and an increase of the GDP by 0.35%.
And he talked about what the results mean in the broader context of the overall economy.
USMCA changes of a GDP increase of 0.35%. TPP that we all talk about, it only had a GDP increase of 0.15%. So just these minor tweaks and changes that we made in USMCA with regard to things like automobiles, et cetera, has more than double the impact on our economy than what we were doing overall in TPP.
And Dowd says the impact on agriculture that USMCA would have is very, very important.
The ITC found that U.S. ag exports were going to increase somewhere around $2.2 billion. With dairy getting a nice chunk of that, with exports to Canada up $227 million and exports to Mexico up $50 million. Poultry meat exports to Canada up $183.5 million. So not bad for just, a few tweaks around the edges here.
Now, if we could just get it passed through Congress. Ag News, Mid-America Ag Network.
Rocklahoma. Now is your chance to head to Pryor, Oklahoma for one of the biggest rock festivals in the nation. Enjoy Shinedown, Korn, Disturbed, and a heck of a lot more. Listen all week during the Voice of Reason and catch your chance to win a pair of tickets presented by Toppers Plus and enjoy the best rock festival around. It's Rocklahoma with Toppers Plus and the Big Talker, KQAM.
NextEra Energy Resources, a company that develops wind farms across the country and have been doing that for over 2 decades. And folks, they're the ones that are putting together the Pretty Prairie Wind Farm in Reno County. And they recognize there's a vocal minority that needs some answers. The fact is, when you look at the project area and the people opposing it, especially those that are claiming it's too close to them, it's not even close to their backyards. In fact, many of them are in separate towns. It's a land rights issue. The landowner has the right to call the shots on what his land can and can't do. It's un-American to dictate to them. And so, folks, this project will benefit the entire community, from Kansas State University, University of Kansas, all kinds of public school benefits. Yes, I look forward to the county commissioners making the right decision and moving the Pretty Prairie Wind Project forward. If you have any questions, friends, please call your county commissioner.
Every day, thousands of vehicles travel the streets of Wichita. And at Affinity Automotive, we care about making sure your vehicle always performs at its best, but more importantly, is always safe for you and your family. From the simplest of services to diagnosing major issues, you can rest assured that at Affinity Automotive, every one of our technicians have the best in training. Affinity Automotive views their customers as part of their extended family, so you can expect honest automotive repair recommendations with the best interest at heart. Come meet our team at Pawnee and Meridian. Affinity Automotive. Look it up, and you will see our name says it all.
Have you ever stopped to think about just how many songs have been written about time? Multiply it by hundreds. And that's the number of timepieces at Scott Child's Old Time Clock Shop. Scott Child's Old Time Clock Shop. 1946 West 13th Street North in the heart of Riverside.
Time of my life.
Wichita's Big Talker is 1480 AM and 1025 FM, KQAM.
Minutes past the hour. Welcome into the Voice of Reason. Great to have you along for the ride today on a Wednesday, although it's going to be a free-for-all Wednesday. Why? Because we can. That's why.
Exactly.
Welcome in. 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. So if you haven't seen it, there is a video on, I shared it on my personal page. I've shared it on the Voice of Reason page as well. But there is a video of a student at Kansas University berating a Republican conservative because he is the problem with society and he is the capitalist and he's this and he's that, and they just go, and it's the typical, I don't like the way you think, so therefore I'm going to shut down any type of dialogue. And John, you and I have talked a little bit about this because, politically I think you and I are on a little bit different sides of the aisle-ish, but I love having the conversations, and that's what we do, and that's what we need to do.
Right.
This type of activity where the college is like a social, experiment, and if we don't like what you say, then we shut down the dialogue, that's not helpful in any way, especially for young kids trying to figure out what's going on.
No, but in the 60s, it was more informative and more demonstrating, a more vocal, more overt action on either side.
Yeah.
And now it seems like if you have a differing point of view, you're either going to be anonymous and paint someone's car or whatever property to get your view out, or you're going to make an overt action and not allow the other side to have a say or to express their amendment right. So that's the big problem. It's a two-way street. Let's not have selective memory.
Let's not have the selective memory. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we got to be fair and balanced across the board. Well, there's a movement now, the Revolutionary Communist Party USA, and they made a stand in the University of California in Los Angeles just a few days ago, according to CampusReform.com. Members of the Revolutionary Communist Party of America launched an advertising campaign at the University of California in Los Angeles in early May by chalking and distributing signage in the apparent effort to recruit college students to join and subscribe to their communist ideologies. And they ended up getting a little violent as well for those that did not like the communist message being spread, and it led to some altercations on the university. And I mean, as we talk about the different ideologies, I mean, you want to talk about the extreme ideologies trying to go all the way to the other side and uprooting pretty much everything America's about, then that's the way to do it. And apparently the students got into some altercations at the University of California with the Communist Revolution. Viva la Revolution! Ha ha! And that's kind of a scary thought.
That is a scary thought. I mean, really?
Now, I will say, when I was in college, I was at Bowling Green State University, and I was in one of the more progressive, liberal universities in the state of Ohio. There was a socialist party that would hand out the Karl Marx newspaper in the center of campus. And I laughed, and I had to chalk it up and enjoy that because they had told me that I can have it for free unless I have money to spend. Then I could donate $1 to them. But if I didn't, then they would give it to me for free.
I see.
Yeah.
Reverse psychology.
So,
there,
Bottom of the hour news coming up here in just a second. When we come back, Congressman Ron Estes, he'll be joining us on the phone to talk about what's going on in Washington, D.C. And,
Supporters of the bill passed by the Alabama legislature last night to make performing almost all abortions a felony are looking now to Republican Governor Kay Ivey, who has not publicly said if she'll sign it. Ivey is pro-life, though. Outlawing abortion with only a few exceptions, the bill would become the most restrictive anti-abortion law in the country if she does sign it. Another threat from Iran this morning, as Iran's Minister of Defense says his country will defeat the American and Israeli alliance. This as the State Department has ordered all non-essential American staff to leave Iraq right away because of tensions with Iran. Correspondent Michelle Kaczynski checking out the reason for that.
The U.S. believes that Iran-backed militias and other Iran-backed groups could pose a threat and may be actively planning threats against U.S. assets in the region as well as U.S. allies.
On Wall Street, stock futures are in negative territory this hour. The Dow is off 62 points. I'm Michael Toscano.
Today, business happens here, and virtually anywhere. Because today, innovative companies are reinventing the way business happens, and they need people who can keep up. With the expertise and technology to get packages to over 150 million delivery points. So, who can help you deliver the future of commerce? The United States Postal Service. See why we deliver more e-commerce packages to homes than anyone at USPS.com/future.
I'm Sarah Wallace, General Manager at Magnolia Bakery.
Every cake has the backstory of who you're giving this cake to. It's happy birthday, Jessica, or happy sweet 16, Amy, and wanting Amy to have the best sweet 16 that she could ever have. I'm working for a sweeter world, one treat at a time.
At ADP, we're designing a better way to work so you can achieve what you're working for. HR, talent, time, benefits, and payroll, informed by data and designed for people. Learn more at design.adp.com.
Kansas Mid-America Network News. Good Wednesday. A 22-year-old Hutchinson woman is alive despite being hit by a train as she walked home from work. The Hutchinson Police Department says Anaya Salters suffered deep cuts and a broken arm when she was hit Monday night, apparently by the train's cow guard. Hutch News reports Salters told police she heard the train behind her but didn't realize how close she was to the tracks. Police said the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railway train was traveling about 25 miles an hour when the woman was hit. This week's report by the National Ag Statistics Service says that corn planting in the Sunflower State is behind, with just 46% of the season's crop now seeded. Usually by this late in the season, about 67% of the crop is in the ground. About 1% of the sorghum and sunflower crops have been planted. Winter wheat, 35% of the crop is headed, with a statewide crop rating of 56% good to excellent. Mid-American Network News.
Comedian Lavelle Crawford.
My mama took care of me and my sisters. She raised us the right way. She ain't bring no strange men in the house. She introduced them. This is your Uncle Larry. I said, no, I be like, I thought you only had 3 brothers. Shut up, it's your Uncle Larry.
Comedian Lavelle Crawford. Saturday, May 18th at Seven Clans Casino Hotel First Council.
I reckon crazy. We gonna cut your head off. I say, I don't have no neck. You know?
Get tickets at the casino box office or sevenclans.com.
Hi ladies, it's Tiffany, talking about my all-time favorite flooring store, Jabbar's Flooring Outlet. You've heard of Jabbar's Flooring for years. They have the largest selection of carpet, tile, wood, and all your favorite floor coverings in the state. What I really like is the gallery and their design team. Refresh your space this spring at Jabbar's. Take it from me, ladies, a real shopper. Someone who loves a great deal and super quality. See Jabbar's for your new floors. Like they say, the smartest shoppers shop Jabbar's.
May is Bike Month, and there's a reason that people shop and repeat shop at Heartland Bicycle. Whether it's a kid's first set of wheels to bikes for the weekend warrior, the round-the-blocker, or the competitive rider doing the Continental Divide. And Heartland Bicycle is serious about making sure you're taken care of with accessories, clothing, helmets, footwear, eyewear, and cycles. The best of the best in Giant, Salsa, Gunner, and TerraTrike recumbent tricycles. Heartland Bicycle, 111 North Mosley, and online at heartlandbike.com.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM. For this morning, sunny and clear, high near 87 with winds gusting up to 20 miles an hour, clear and 63 tonight. Tomorrow, sunny and breezy, high around 86, winds up to 30 miles an hour, mostly clear and 66 tomorrow night with again those gusty winds. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 6:35, it's currently 59 degrees.
You can hear the same old talk, or you can listen to entertaining talk. This is the Big Talker, KQAM.
Minutes past the hour. Welcome into the Voice of Reason on a Wednesday. It is a post-to-post Monday, a pre-Friday, all that good jazz. And it's great to have you along for the ride here. Andy Hoosier sitting in, John Wright running the board this morning. John, you're taking things over, man.
Give me some of you, Louis.
Huey Lewis? Huey Louie.
Say that fast 6 times.
That guy. That's right. Welcome in 316-721-8255. 316-721 Talk. Congressman Ron Estes is going to be joining us here in just a few minutes. Looking forward to chatting with him for a Wednesday and the final morning that I get to wake you up as I try and do each and every day, get you pumped up, ready to go. Let's do it, man. Let's go. Let's do it. Yeah. Let me ask you, John.
Yes.
As you do the newsy stuff and covering stories, what is the most fun type of news story to cover? Obviously, you know, it's hard to report things like a mass accident, people, passing or, crazy stories like that. But, fun stories that it's actually fun to be able to report on. What kind of story is that?
I've always liked doing covering the Habitat for Humanity stories.
Oh, okay.
To see the first-time homeowner and their families walk into a home that they never had, and to move forward, and those were always fun. The Red Cross stories, especially after tragedy, you get to tell a story about something positive in the community, people coming together, helping those less fortunate, or the victims of a weather, a tornado or flood or something.
Sure.
But I do also like stories with young people, especially those who do what they're supposed to do. Their attention span is phenomenal. They stay focused, and they get that big scholarship, whether it's for books or athletics. Those are always fun because it's positive.
Sure.
And there's so much negative that gets the media spotlight. When you have something that's positive, not enough attention is paid to young people who are actually doing the right thing. So those are the ones I really like.
That is the positive stories, which we don't get enough of those in media today. I mean, that we always, in the media, especially mainstream media, likes to focus on the doom and gloom quite a bit.
Because it grabs ratings and supposedly.
Oh my gosh, the world's going to end. Yeah.
Every time the sky's falling. And,
When is the sky going to fall today? That's the big question. And I guess, that falls into, climate change and everything of the sort.
There's no climate change.
Hey. See, there it is. 316-721-8255. It's going to be fun again. If you haven't heard, we are doing the changes on KQAM. John Wright, you're taking over the morning, 6 to 8, doing the news, weather, traffic, sports, ag. I will be jumping on occasionally to do some political updates as well for individuals if to tease what's coming up in the middle of the day.
Right. Not going to leave you hanging.
Yeah, not going to leave me hanging. But then we are doing some changes as well. Brian Kilmeade from Fox News, Fox and Friends, as you know, he does the show in the mornings on Fox and Friends, and then he'll be doing the Brian Kilmeade Show from Fox News. We'll be airing that live from 8 to 11. If you're a big fan of Mike Gallagher, and listen to Mike Gallagher, Gallagher's going to be moved to the evenings at 8 o'clock at night after Joe Pags, and you can listen to him there. I will be moved to 11 to 2. And that's going to start next week, so you can catch me in the middle of the day. We'll still be doing the issue-driven show, which is always fun and what we like to discuss with all the issues going on of the day. And then, of course, Dave Ramsey and Joe Pags not changing, not going anywhere. Don't worry about that. Mike Gallagher, 8 to 11 at night. Now, if you're an Armed American Radio fan as well, then stay tuned in because Armed American Radio and Mark Hill be on from 11 to midnight here on KQAM. So we're moving that show back just a little bit. So look forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun and kind of a big change going on for KQAM. So stay tuned in, and that's going to start next week. Now, I've been saying this is kind of the farewell here because this is my last morning. Jim Price, host of the Jim Price Show, which you can hear on Saturday evenings. He's guest hosting the program tomorrow and Friday for me, and Monday, as I'm traveling back on Monday. So stay tuned in. But Jim Price will be filling in tomorrow, Friday, and Monday for me. And then I'll be back at it on Tuesday in the brand new slot. So with that said, because of the changes and because of this being the last morning show that I get to wake you up on before I get to, entertain you when you're hitting your food coma at lunchtime kind of thing.
Right.
I am excited, and I had to get him on the show to talk to us because he's, such a great friend in what he's doing, and we're so excited to have him on here. But from the 4th Congressional District, Congressman Ron Estes hanging out with us right now. Congressman, how are you, my friend?
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing so good. It's great to get you on here this morning. I really appreciate that for the final voice of reason early in the morning. This is kind of fun.
Well, this is kind of great. I knew with it being the last one you were on, I wanted to get on it. And you've done such a good job hosting every morning and talking about so many great things that are going on and trying to get the facts out about what's really happening. And so I wanted to call in and congratulate you for your work and wish you best wishes for your new gig, I guess.
Hey, well, thank you. I appreciate that. We're looking forward, and we'll get you on in the middle of the day, so then you can take a lunch break sometimes from the craziness in D.C. and get you on from there on now. But there's a lot going on in D.C. right now, and right now it doesn't seem like it's really issue-driven, but more drama-driven. I'm starting to feel like this is the episode of our Days of Our Lives every day when we hear statements of like the anti-Semitism coming from certain congresswomen coming from our Washington, D.C. area that we're not actually really getting to actually debate topical issues in D.C. right now, are we?
That's real. You're right. You hit right on the head in terms of what's going on. It's more political theater and what sounds good, pandering to their base. And so we're having lots of investigations, and at the end of the day, we're not passing much legislation, particularly not stuff that's useful. And then you have all sorts of negative comments, and like you said, anti-Semitic talks and comments and wording that comes out, and it's a sad state that that's what the Democrat leadership's doing on the House side, and we need to focus on getting problems solved. There's so many things that we need to work on, and need to keep moving forward.
Mm-hmm. The hate speech bill that you guys passed a while ago that started off to be non-anti-Semitism. You can't be doing any kind of anti-Semitism speech. In that sense, it kind of got broadened out to just hate speech in general, and they ended up twisting it and using it to say you can't say anything derogatory against the Muslim community. So it kind of got twisted on us there. But doesn't some of the comments that are being made kind of fall into that same category?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, they basically are just looking at how can you twist so many bills out, and that's a good example of what they've basically said is, well, but don't point a finger at the bad comments or the bad mistakes we're doing. And you're seeing that so often with misleading bill titles. I mean, that's one of the big push that they're going through, and they passed a bill last week that titled "Protecting Americans with Pre-Existing Conditions Act," but really it had nothing to do with protecting people with pre-existing conditions. It was about promoting Washington, D.C. and one-size-fits-all government health plan. And they did another one with H.R. 8, the so-called bipartisan background checks for gun ownership. But basically what it did was it superseded state laws. It basically said that if you went hunting with a buddy, you couldn't lend them your shotgun without being in violation of the law, the way they put that out there. So there's so much out there. Save the Internet Act, which did nothing to save the Internet. I mean, they're coming up with lofty marketing titles, but at the end of the day, it's not making the country better off. I mean, we need to be focusing on so many things. Right now, the trade's an important issue from an agriculture standpoint and from the business community. And we've got the USMCA, the replacement for NAFTA, the United States, Mexico, Canada agreement.
How's that going so far?
It's all teed up right now. Really, we're waiting on the speech of Pelosi. What she has to do is indicate to the president and work with him to say, okay, present us your draft wording, because the responsibility right now is for the president to present a draft wording of the legislation. We will get 30 days to review it and to make recommendations back. By we, I mean the House Ways and Means Committee, of which I'm a member, and then the Senate Finance Committee. And then the president comes up with the final wording, presents that to us to vote up or down with no amendments. So we really want to get that wording right, and we need to get moving on this to get it done. And it's just an indication of just so many things that aren't happening that we need to focus on. And that's kind of a sad state of affairs right now, but that's kind of where we are.
Boy, it really is. We hear the rumors that Nancy Pelosi's, kind of things are out of her hands. The anarchy going on her side of the aisle in her house there with AOC and some of these others making these ridiculous comments and causing controversy. And it's really Nancy Pelosi trying to be the babysitter that's lost control of the House right now. Is that really the case right now, where she can't even contain what's going on within her own party?
So there's a lot to be said for that. So she's got such a radical group as a core part of the Democrat Party that's actually, whether they're members of Congress or whether they're in their voting base and their donor base, that they're kind of saying they're directing and dictating what people are doing. They're actually outrunning ads in different Democrat members who might be considered mainstream or moderate Democrats, in attacking them for not being more liberal. And so a lot of the Democrats that I talk to that say they ran to be pro-business or ran to be, get things done, they're fearful of being primaried by a much more leftist Democrat in their primary. So they're actually voting more liberal than they campaigned on. And maybe that's just their excuse. Maybe they would do it anyway. But that's what they say, is they're worried about having a primary challenge from a more radical person.
How sad. I've seen some of the posts from some congresswomen that are Democrats, I believe down in Florida, that had come out and had talked about how the socialism talk really offends them, how they're capitalist, how they understand Donald Trump, and how they're like, the normal, average, middle-of-the-road Democrat, which is very few and hard to find nowadays in some senses. But there were some that tried to make a stand, and it sounds like they're getting shut out pretty quickly, which is really sad.
It really is. I mean, the Ways and Means Committee that I'm on is one of those committees where you tend to work together more closely. Some of the other committees are, just much more diverse, and you get attacked, and it's much more political pandering around that process. And unfortunately, we're just not able. We can sit down and talk. Republicans and Democrats can sit down and talk about, well, here's a rational solution. But it doesn't get brought forward by leadership in terms of saying, okay, we can bring that to the floor and vote on it, because they frankly don't want to vote on good common sense solutions.
With the political grandstanding going on right now, and with so many people trying to run for president right now on the Democrat side, so I'm sure that kind of bleeds into this as well, with them trying to create bills to make them look good running into the elections for next year. Is there any discussion as we start going in towards the end of the budget year and looking at the appropriations bills and doing anything of that sort as well?
Well, and that's kind of why it's so important that we focus on the USMCA now and get that passed and moving forward. Traditionally, Democrats opposed trade deals because of labor provisions. And, this is one where President Trump actually put in more pro-worker provisions into the USMCA than a typical Republican would have. And so that's why it's so important that we get Democrats to work together to have a bipartisan vote on this and move forward. Because starting in June, the Democrat candidates for president will start debating each other.
Sure.
Now they're out campaigning about, this is what I'm for, and these are the positive things I'll do. Starting in June, they'll start attacking each other. And then it'll be, if anybody brings up a rational idea, they'll be attacked by the other 20 some odd candidates, however many are in there. And so it'll make the process of getting good legislation passed much, much harder because of that presidential debate dialogue that they're going to have.
I sense a very frustrating session coming up in all these debates that's going to go on, because it doesn't sound like we're going to get anything substantial out of it, since it's going to be all just the political grandstanding. Although, Congressman, I think that we should present a bill and put it on the floor and have a garbage disposal awareness bill, so AOC might not be terrified every time she walks into her house. What do you think?
well, we can craft we can craft any kind of great wording we want to. Whatever kind of lofty bill we want to have. Helping Democrat incumbents get reelected or whatever else, and that those are all good sound bites that they want to do. Unfortunately, I mean, you touched on it earlier, is later in the year we're going to get into the real serious aspect of funding the government for the next fiscal year. And we come back in September after Labor Day, we'll be dead into the process of appropriations and the debt ceiling discussion, and it's going to be very difficult to have a rational conversation about that with all the presidential candidates and all of their conversations, and without all of the political theater that they're wanting to go through for good sound bites.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And that's I think one of the most important things we should focus on right now is some of those budgetary and appropriations discussions. Last question before we let you go, Congressman Ron Estes from the 4th District here. But Rashida Tlaib and AOC and some of the comments that they have made, and some of the controversy that is going on with some of the anti-Semitism that's been accused of, and even just the ridiculous "I'm terrified of my garbage disposal" thing in my house from AOC. Is there any talks up there of, number one, with some of the hate speech, of some type of slap on the wrist or repercussions because of these comments right now? And is there any talks from the Democrats, especially with the fringe like that, those rabble-rousers, of saying, hey, maybe we should primary these gals out come next year because they're giving us a bad rep?
Well, I don't know. There's so many of those inner city districts that are so heavily Democrat that they to some degree they like that their member of Congress stands up and speaks out, even if they're speaking out silly things for them. But they're getting in the newspaper, on TV. But it is sad, in the state that we talk about, so much anti-Semitism, so much prejudice and hate speech out there. And I'm not a big advocate that we need to punish somebody because they said something hateful. But if you get out there and you are in a leadership position, you need to make sure that you're working for the country and not working against other individuals, and allow people the freedom to do what they want.
Exactly. It's different from an average citizen saying something like this, which is dumb and how dare you do it, but, whatever, you have the right to say that. But that to an elected official that's trying to represent people, that's unnecessary and uncalled for, I think. Congressman Ron Estes, we're out of time, my friend, but I really appreciate you coming on the show this morning. We love chatting with you, and we're going to get you on the midday slot here once we do the transition, and look forward to chatting with you again here soon.
All right, sounds good.
Hey,
thank you. Good luck with your new show.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it very much right there. Congressman Ron Estes, we always appreciate the time that he gives to us. 8 minutes to the top of the hour. Let's go ahead and take a break right here on The Voice of Reason. This is The Voice of Reason right here on KQAM.
You're listening to The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Market information, Mid-America Ag Network. I'm Craig Mead. Good morning. Well, some weather issues and some other marketing issues pushed corn and wheat higher. Some good news for soybean sales pushed soybeans higher. So we saw a pretty strong day in the corn, wheat, and soybeans on Tuesday. It looked a little questionable as we got started, but things finished very well. July corn up 12 1/4 at 368 3/4. September corn up 11 1/2 at 377 1/4. Of course, not a whole lot of corn has been planted so far this year, so that's helping push prices up. July Kansas City wheat up 11 3/4 at 408 3/4. September up 11 1/2 at 419 1/2. All three of the wheat markets showed some very positive gains, and a nice sale for soybeans, along with the soybean planting issues, of course, helping push those prices up. July beans up 29 at 831 1/2. August soybeans up 29 at 838. Each of the later months was up by about the same amount. The products came along for the ride higher. July soybean meal up $10.70 at $2.98. August up $10.60 at $2.9950. Soy oil was up. July bean oil 39 points higher at 27 even. August up 38 points at 27.13. So a big day on Tuesday for corn, wheat, and soybeans. I wish the same could be said for cattle. Unfortunately, that's not the case. June live cattle finished down 25 at 109.50. August down 20 at 106.72. August feeder cattle down 60 at 142.50. September feeders down 72 at 143.57. The bright spot in the livestock complex was hogs. June hogs up 245, 89.12. July hogs up 230 at 90.05. So we saw positives all the rest of the way down in hogs. So hogs had a big day. Cattle did not. It was a huge day for corn, wheat, and soybeans on Tuesday. Market update, Mid-America Ag Network.
Rocklahoma. Now is your chance to head to Pryor, Oklahoma for one of the biggest rock festivals in the nation. Enjoy Shinedown, Korn, Disturbed, and a heck of a lot more. Listen all week during The Voice of Reason and catch your chance to win a pair of tickets presented by Toppers Plus and enjoy the best rock festival around. It's Rocklahoma with Toppers Plus and the Big Talker, KQAM.
At Starseed, premium alfalfa seed has long been a pillar in our forage lineup. Our A100 varieties are exceptionally high-yielding over a broad range of soils. Choose from our exclusive blends of A100, A100 Premium, or A100 Grazer. Visit GoStarseed.com to see our full list of alfalfa varieties or give us a call at 800-782-7311 to order your alfalfa seed today.
Now check this out from Davis Liquor Outlet.
Hi, this is Brian Davis from Davis Liquor Outlet.
And this is Blake Davis.
Did you know that you can sign up online at davisliquoroutlet.com to receive coupons?
We provide monthly coupons with discounts, in-store specials, and we produce a newsletter every month.
It is real simple. Just go to davisliquoroutlet.com.
Then head to the Get Monthly Coupons tab.
And don't forget, every month, people over 60 save 10%.
And active duty and veterans also save 10%.
Davis Liquor Outlet.
Each location independently owned and operated.
For over 60 years, Rustiak Ford has been honored and proud to serve the state of Kansas. We always put our community first and our customers first. We help our community with our well-known Adopt a School program, the Veterans Village, the Susan Coleman Cancer Run, holiday donation drives for families, events for WSU and Newman universities, and many other worthwhile causes. And we help families find the car or truck they want at a price they need. And in addition to that low price, we throw in zero down with your good credit, interest rates as low as 0%, top dollar for your trade, and 2 years of Ford recommended maintenance on your new ride. At Rustiak Ford, we make the entire ownership experience fast, easy, and transparent. Come see us at Town East and Kellogg in Wichita, or visit rustiakford.com. We always put our community first and our customers first. Rustiak Ford in Wichita, Town East at Kellogg.
Your news today with John Wright, right here on the Big Talker, KQAM.
All right, top of the hour news coming up here in just a minute. When we come back, we have lots more to get to. Jim Howell, Sedgwick County Commissioner, he'll be joining us at 7:30 as he usually does on a whatever today is, Wednesday.
Wednesday, yes.
Yeah, Wednesday. What do you think? A garbage disposal awareness bill. What do you think?
I know what a garbage disposal is. My grandmother knows what a garbage disposal is. I don't get that at all.
She
That's
is
nuts.
a blast to talk about. And, it's funny because they were talking about ramming through and doing more with her whatever it is, her Green New Deal and her environmentalist bills that take things way to a new level. I mean, come on. We shouldn't have any air travel because that's bad for the environment, according to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. We should have trains that go over the ocean. That's how we should travel. Because that makes they make themselves, the jokes make I don't even have to write the material anymore.
No.
You just have to report it, and it's just a joke in itself. So that's what's going on in the crazy world. But again, appreciate Congressman Ron Estes coming on the program. Got to wrap it up here for hour number one. Hour two, lots more to get to as we rock and roll today on a post Monday, a pre Friday. It is a Wednesday. This is The Voice of Reason. Hour number two coming up.
Whatever your business, on EMC Insurance, because our business is protecting your business. EMC Insurance Company has the knowledge and expertise to provide you with the right insurance coverage options. And when you insure your business with EMC, you receive the added value of our free loss control services, no matter the size of your company. Contact your local independent insurance agent and ask about insurance from EMC. In Nashville, call Strong's Insurance at 246-5222. Jesse Soria of Cholitas Mexican Restaurant at Central and Tyler talks a little bit about success.
Each and every one of our customers that come in, we want them to come back. We want them to enjoy their meal. We want them to be happy. If for some reason we send you some food and let's say it doesn't taste right, let us know. I'm going to bend over backwards to take care of you. Our goal 30 years ago was to please every customer, and that is still our goal today.
Cholitas Mexican Restaurant, Central and Tyler.
This is a Steckline Communications station, K273CX, FM 102.5, and AM 1480 KQAM, Wichita proud. It's time for the latest news from the KQAM News Center. Brought to you by The Laundry Station, Kansas's premier laundry services provider in the Wichita area. Centrally located on Oliver at Kellogg. The Laundry Station.
Good Wednesday morning. A 26-year-old Wichita man has pled guilty to second-degree murder in the death of his girlfriend's 2-year-old son. Lucas Deal accepted a plea deal this week in the death of Anthony Bunn. The boy was found unresponsive in a home in May of last year. Police say he suffered severe head injuries. Under the deal, Lucas Deal is expected to be sentenced to nearly 49 years in prison when he's sentenced on the 25th of June. The boy's mother, Elizabeth Woolheater, has also been charged with murder in the boy's death. She's scheduled for a hearing later this month.
A busy agenda for the Wichita City Council yesterday. The proposal for an 80-foot tall cell phone tower at the northwest corner of 18th Street and North Woodland in Riverside met serious opposition from nearby residents, and the council voted yesterday to deny a permit for that tower. The construction of the cell phone tower in Riverside was denied by the City Council by a vote of 5-2. In other council action yesterday, the City Council delayed action for a week on a proposal regarding the future of the Gander Mountain building so the city could finalize terms of a contract with King of Freight. King of Freight does freight logistics and is looking to purchase the Gander Mountain building for its local headquarters. The company says by moving into the vacant space, it will help the company expand and create 400 additional new jobs with an average salary of more than $50,000. And the City Council yesterday gave the green light for the city to purchase 4 electric buses. KWCH-TV reports that Wichita Transit says they should be delivered in October. Wichita Transit says the cost of buying electric buses is higher than diesel buses, but with a switch from diesel to electric, the city would save millions of dollars in the long run. And forecasters say early summer-like temperatures will prevail in south-central Kansas through tomorrow. Then chances of rain are on tap for Friday and Saturday. From the KQAM News Desk, I'm Rick Everett.
The Wichita State Shockers played their final midweek game last night on the road at Oral Roberts. The Shockers get out of Oral Roberts with a win, 4-2. The Shockers will wrap up the regular season on the road this weekend at the University of Southern Florida. High school baseball and softball regionals are underway. Some regional champs that advanced onto the state tournament. In the softball side, it was Northwest, Goddard, and Mays South. In the baseball side, it was Mulvane and Independent. Derby advanced in both baseball and softball. Regional play continues tonight. From the KGSO Sports Desk, I'm Doug Downs.
Waring and Fiegel Optometry at 2121 North Tyler, number 302, has a selection of prescription sun eyewear that's so bright everyone can be wearing shades. Waring and Fiegel Optometry has the names in sun eye apparel that people seek. Prescription eyewear from Maui Jim, Oakley, Wiley X, Rudy Project, and even sunglasses from Amphibia. Squinting in this beautiful sunshine doesn't have to be a thing. What are you wearing? Waring and Fiegel Optometry, 21st in Tyler.
Here's some simple math for you. Chevy cars and trucks just cost less at Countryside Motors in Wellington. You want the best price on a Silverado in Kansas or Oklahoma? Check out Countryside Motors in Wellington. Are you looking for that perfect SUV? They have the great selection of Buick Enclaves, Envisions, and Encores, again, at the best prices anywhere. Countryside Motors in Wellington. Folks, it's simple math. For the best prices on cars and trucks, check out Countryside Motors in Wellington. Online at countrysidemotors.net. Simple math. Best prices. Come on out to the country and save. Countryside Motors in Wellington, Kansas. Are you ready for a renovation in your landscape? Would you like to add trees, shrubs, or flowers? Do you need somebody that can help you deciding what to plant? Call Professional Landscaping Services at 832-0061 for a free estimate. Professional Landscaping Services has experienced personnel and the right equipment to do the right job for you. We have over 35 years of experience providing quality work. Call Professional Landscaping Services at 832-0061. We do what we say we'll do for you. Professional Landscaping Services, 832-0061.
Now, back to the KQAM News Desk. Supporters of the bill passed by the Alabama legislature last night to make performing almost all abortions a felony are looking now to Republican Governor Kay Ivey, who has not publicly said if she'll sign it. Ivey is pro-life, though. Outlawing abortion with only a few exceptions, the bill would become the most restrictive anti-abortion law in the country if she does sign it. Another threat from Iran this morning, as Iran's Minister of Defense says his country will defeat the American and Israeli alliance. This as the State Department has ordered all non-essential American staff to leave Iraq right away because of tensions with Iran. Correspondent Michelle Kaczynski checking out the reason for that.
The U.S. believes that Iran-backed militias and other Iran-backed groups could pose a threat and may be actively planning threats against U.S. assets in the region as well as U.S. allies.
On Wall Street, stock futures are in negative territory this hour. The Dow is off 62 points. I'm Michael Toscano.
Your local weather on KQAM. Brought to you by Maximum Outdoor Equipment. All equipment outdoors, from lawnmowers to snowblowers. Just south of Kellogg on West Street and online at MaximumOutdoor.com.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker, KQAM. For this morning, sunny and clear, high near 87 with winds gusting up to 20 miles an hour, clear and 63 tonight. Tomorrow, sunny and breezy, high around 86, winds up to 30 miles an hour, mostly clear and 66 tomorrow night with again those gusty winds. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 7:06, it's currently 59 degrees.
Kansas state politics at its best. Catch the latest only on the Big Talker, KQAM. It's time for Reason.
They wanted to stand strong, but these are the same ones that when we say, hey, you run in as a Republican, can you support Republican values, please? A Republican value for 800, please. And then they end up not doing that because we kind of know where they stand on issues. So now they tried to be bold, and it was really cute watching them be bold, and they ended up caving after a couple hours, and therefore now Medicaid officially has been done, is dead for this year, and will not come back this year.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Then I'll get on my knees and pray. We don't get fooled again. Don't get fooled again.
That's what I'm talking about. Welcome into the Voice of Reason. It is a Wednesday, a post Monday, a pre Friday, however you want to look at it. Welcome in to the program, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on the Big Talker, 1480 on the AM side, 102.5 on the FM side, KQAM. We are simulcasting on YouTube as well. Do me a favor. Go on to youtube.com, find KQAM Radio, watch us live today. If you can't and you're on social media like Facebook and you see the link to YouTube, share it onto your own page because this show is going crazy. It's blowing up and we're having way too much fun while we're doing it. 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK if you want to join into the program. This half hour, the broadcast is brought to you by Countryside Motors. Just a short drive down the turnpike for big savings. Make sure to check out the Buick and Chevy cars and trucks, the Polaris and Hustler ATV and turf equipment. It's Countryside Motors, Wellington, Kansas. Online at countrysidemotors.net. Again, countrysidemotors.net. We have a lot to get to. Bottom of the hour, Jim Howell, Sedgwick County Commissioner. He'll be joining us as he does on a Wednesday. Coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, Ken Coleman. If you know that name, that's right. He's a Dave Ramsey personality, author of the new book, The Proximity Principle. You want to look at a new career? You are happy with your job, or do you look for the job and the career that makes you happy? That's what he talks about. That's his specialty, is with his radio show. And looking forward to having Ken Coleman. If you're watching the YouTube, you can see the book there on the program coming up at 8 o'clock today. Until then, though, John Wright, Andy Hoosier hanging out here. We do have a phone call on the line as well. So let's go to that. Line number one. Who's this?
This is Eddie.
Good morning, Eddie. How are we doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. This being your last day on morning, but I'm going to look forward to you being on the afternoon, which you're going to, morning, afternoon split, which you're going to totally own. You know, you were talking about adult activities earlier,
Yeah.
and, and these young people today, by the way, are you aware that John Wright is part of that Real Men, Real Heroes group where he teaches young men how to be good young men?
Oh.
Yes, Eddie, you
are
got
you aware?
me.
You haven't told me about that.
No, I have not. But that's another organization, totally positive, mentoring, out activities outside the classroom. Because, you can learn valuable lessons inside the classroom, but there's so much you can learn outside of it.
The life lessons.
The life lessons, and the great men that I'm working with are relaying those life lessons, mostly fatherless homes, single mom homes, maybe grandpa, grandma raising the kids, to teach them and show them a better life, better way. So it's a very positive organization. I've been there. I guess I was number 35, the last one, when they originally came up with the idea for this. Van Williams was part of that brain trust, and a lot of the guys have been in since it's been incepted. So thanks, Eddie, for recognizing that. I didn't tell Andy about that group. You don't want to beat your chest too much. You just want to get things done, behind the scenes a little bit. But, yes, I am still part of that group.
No, Andy, I absolutely love you, but I do know that John is really, really an outstanding man. really, really outstanding, and I wish him the best of luck. Although he's not you, but I wish him the best of luck always. But,
thank you.
Well,
hey,
that's all right. I mean, we're getting the best of both worlds now. John's gonna be handling the news stuff in the morning. I'll be doing the issue-driven stuff in the middle of the day. So we'll just tag team this thing and make it all happen.
right, and I do hope that every once in a while he will have you as a guest to discuss political things, because you might take one side, you might take the other.
Sure.
It'll be very interesting.
Yeah, we do plan on having the congressman back on, and the city and county officials on, public safety officials, the police, fire chief, some patrol officers, whoever's out there, firefighters, doing something positive in the community, or just informing the public on what is happening, so that you can hear it from
Beautiful.
the horse's mouth.
Beautiful. No cooking shows. I don't want you to have 30 minutes of teaching us how to cook a damn egg,
No,
okay?
Eddie. I was thinking about doing my grilling, and do the political story and then grill something appropriate with the story of the day. What do you think?
Yeah. But Andy, okay, these young men today, they're confused about whether they're men or women, because at first you're supposed to figure it out. So how are these? How is this world supposed to have more adult activities when these men don't even know what to do with what they have?
That is, when you're eating, when you're snorting the condom through your nose instead of using it appropriately, then we have a problem, and we haven't figured out what the purpose of this whole thing is for. So, I got to agree with you there. Now, if people are listening and like, what in the world are they talking about?
We went way out of here now. We're in the atmosphere.
There was a story in the first hour that we read that showed the latest study shows that men think about sports more frequently than they do about adult activities, and that's saying something when the average man thinks about the adult activity about every 7 seconds. So, according to the study. So, you're right. If we're not using the tools that we've been given appropriately the way we need to, then, we might have some problems here. I don't know.
Well, there's some things going on out there that you can pretty much do whatever you want these days. So, and it's totally up choice. Did I back out of that?
Hey, Andy?
Yes.
Oh, by the way, I thoroughly enjoyed your little family in the morning that calls in. I mean, you have some very interesting people, and I've grown to really enjoy those people that call in.
Well, thank you. No, and you're part of that. And I mean, all the callers that call in, and whether it's consistently or just once in a while, I mean, it's a great family, and hopefully we can move that family to the middle of the day and keep having the fun that we do, because it's going to be a lot of fun to do so. But we built something fun and special here, and I'm really proud of it. So I appreciate that, Eddie.
Well, you're going to carry us from the morning to the noontime hours, plus you're going to get additional people. So anyway, John, the best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
But no cooking shows. I love local news, et cetera, like that, but I don't want no cooking. Okay.
Well, what about I throw in a
Andy,
recipe or two?
Oh yeah, Andy, I'll be looking forward to listening to you next Tuesday. And by the way, say hello to our friend, from Armed American Radio when you see him.
I will do
and,
so. Absolutely. Eddie, I appreciate that very much, my friend. That's means a lot. We'll look forward to chatting again here on Tuesday next week in the middle of the day. 316-721-8255. Again, yeah, I will be off tomorrow and Friday and Monday as Jim Price, host of the Jim Price Show. He'll be filling in for those few days on the program for wrap up the last couple of days in the mornings, and then to start off in the middle of the day as I'm traveling out to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to go to a gun expo, a 3-day gun expo, so that'll be a lot of fun. And we'll get to see Mark Walters, host of Armed American Radio, out there. So it'll be a blast. Here's a recipe for you, I think, and we could tie it in with the politics of the day and do the political story and then do the appropriate recipe. What do you think?
I think that'll work.
We could do it. All right, so here it is. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, is afraid of the garbage disposal and, is kind of like a tossed-it salad. So, therefore, I think we should have the AOC tossed-it salad. What do you think?
There's a lot of ways you can look at that. But we know who I know what a garbage disposal is and what it's for, and I'm not afraid of it. Now, you got to take off the metal, the forks and knives and stuff. and then make sure your hand isn't in there when you turn it on. But I just can't believe that one. That one's just
there it is. There it is. You actually had a news story as we start doing this transition into the newsy side and the issue-driven side. But as you preparing for what's going to be like in the mornings here, actually had a bit of a story on your own.
Yes, we did. Tim Conway, a comedian, passed yesterday, and we have a news story regarding that. And let's get caught up on a little bit of news regarding Tim Conway passing.
Tim Conway is being remembered as one of TV's all-time funniest comedians. Dave Alpert in Los Angeles looks back on Tim Conway's career.
When I started out in television, I did not start out as a performer. I started out as a director.
At a local TV station in Ohio, Tim Conway had zero experience when he arrived in Hollywood. His first credited role was 1964's McHale's Navy.
Ensign Charles Parker reporting aboard, sir.
But it was the Carol Burnett show that made him a star.
Mr. Wiggins, do you have any idea of what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think so.
And that's close enough.
He played dozens of memorable characters, and Conway's co-stars were often caught on camera trying not to crack up during his performances, as he recalled in a 2012 interview.
When I look back on it now, I think I should have been arrested for mugging as much as I did, but that's just what I felt comfortable with.
Upon learning of his passing, Carol Burnett issued a statement calling him one in a million, not only as a comedian, but as a loving human being. I cherish the times we had together, both on the screen and off. He'll be in my heart forever. Tim Conway had been battling a long illness prior to his death at age 85. Dave Alpert, Los Angeles.
And I'm Rick Everett for KQAM News.
Thanks, Rick Everett. And, of course, we'll have traffic and weather together there. That's one of the things you needed to know this morning.
There you go. I got to say, the stand-up comedy, do you have one that you follow quite closely, stand-up comedians?
Dave Chappelle and Rodney Dangerfield. Although Rodney's no longer with us. Classic material. Dave Chappelle, and he's doing more specials than a steady show. Of course, everyone heard about his show that he left the country because of different job pressures. But those are the ones that I follow the most. Those two that I'll watch if I'm in a mood or I need to laugh. They instant laughter. Rodney,
Rodney was classic.
Just classic stuff, and everything. Well, most of everything came out of his mouth was funny. If you can crack up Johnny Carson, you're doing
pretty good.
You're doing pretty dang good.
No, absolutely. I got to say, there are three that I follow really closely that I really enjoy, and that is Craig Ferguson, number one.
I remember you saying
top.
That, yeah.
I mean, Craig Ferguson's kind of the it. It's Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan that does his stand-up comedy is fantastic, and then Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy. Come on, man. Fluffy is fantastic. One of the best ones out there. Yeah. So. I love it. All right, we'll take a break here. 18 minutes past the hour. When we come back, we'll get back to some topical issues. Alabama coming out with a vote on the most stringent anti-abortion legislation in the entire nation. They're getting heat for that. We'll talk about the details of that one, plus some of your phone calls as well. We got a lot to get to today on a Wednesday, my final morning show. So we'll do kind of a farewell there and a welcoming into the middle of the day from 11 to 2 as we move the show up to your lunchtime right there. It's the voice of reason. It's KQAM Radio. Stay right here.
The voice of reason with Andy Hoosier on the Big Talker, KQAM.
Ag News from Mid-America Ag Network. I'm Craig Mead. Good morning. With challenges in the farm economy weighing very heavily on farmers and ranchers all across the country, the American Farm Bureau Federation commissioned a nationwide poll to learn more about the state of mental health and wellness in rural America. Ray Atkinson, AFBF Director of Strategic Communications, talks about some of the top takeaways from that survey.
4 in 5 farmers and farm workers said financial issues, fear of losing the farm, and farm or business problems impact the mental health of farmers. This is very concerning because of the depressed state of the farm economy. We know it's having an impact. But one of the positive things we learned was that an overwhelming percentage of rural adults, 91%, said mental health is important to them and or their family.
82% of farmers and farm workers also said mental health was important to them, which Atkinson says is encouraging. A majority of rural adults say there is at least a fair amount of stigma associated with mental health.
Those numbers were lower for stigma around seeking treatment or help for a mental health condition. And 3 in 4 rural adults said it's important to reduce stigma about mental health in the agriculture community. We know there's a great deal of stigma associated with mental health, particularly in rural areas, so it's good to hear that rural Americans want to break this cycle of stigma.
Atkinson says the American Farm Bureau Federation is working with state farm bureaus to compile information on available education and support programs in each state.
We know from our work on the rural opioid issue that there are a huge amount of resources already there. In fact, sometimes the amount of information is just overwhelming. So in many cases, it's just a matter of knowing where the resources are, which ones are the most reputable and helpful, and then making those resources easy to access.
American Farm Bureau Federation's Ray Atkinson, mental health is very important and help is available. Ag News, Mid-America Ag Network.
Nobody's sitting here at Charlotte.
The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series.
$1 million at the end of the line.
With $1 million up for grabs.
Topside Harvest. Getting a shove from Ryan Blaney.
NASCAR's greatest drivers
Inches apart, wheel to wheel.
are willing to lay it all on the line.
He clips Larson. He'll send Larson spinning to the infield track.
The Monster Energy NASCAR All-Star Race.
Let the pushing begin.
Saturday at 4:30 on the Motor Racing Network.
Your home for NASCAR is the Big Talker, KQAM.
Wind energy in Kansas is big business, friends, and it's getting bigger. NextEra Energy has been a leader in this area for building wind farms for over 2 decades, and more are being planned. Hey, there's been some negative information on wind farms that needs to be addressed. So let's go to Ellsworth County. Why? They've had over 300 wind turbines working for several years. Ellsworth County Commissioner Kermit Rush is with me. Kermit, what have wind farms done for your community?
Where the wind towers are, their value, of course, has increased a lot. It's really helped the people that does have the wind towers. Doing real well for them.
How about the claim some people make that values of the land decreases due to wind turbines?
No, that's no case. It's really helped the people that does have the wind towers.
Have you seen people leave your area or have health issues because of wind farms?
No, not at all. I've never heard of it like that.
NextEra Energy is planning a Pretty Prairie wind farm in Reno County. A big asset. We hope the county commissioners make the right decision by moving this project forward.
Good morning. This is Kerry at the El Dorado Livestock Auction. This week we'll have a good run of cattle for you. Some of our featured consignments will be a group of 61 head of mostly black heifer calves that'll be home raised and a long time wean that'll be weighing 7 to 7.5. We'll have one load of mostly black heifers that'll be weighing 8 to 8.5, and we'll have 2 loads of black steers weighing 875 to 900. If you have any questions about our consignments or have any consignments you'd like to give us, feel free to give us a phone call at 316-320-3212, or you can check out a full listing of our consignments and anything that we've got coming up here in the future at our website, which is www.eldorado.livestock.com.
A sale every Thursday at 11 a.m. El Dorado Livestock Auction, 2.5 miles east of El Dorado on Highway 54.
Wichita's home for talk radio. This is the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM, KQAM.
24 minutes past the hour. Welcome into the Voice of Reason today on a Wednesday. Jam it! John Wright, Andy Hoosier hanging out today. Oh, yeah?
Before I got serious.
Yeah?
The news, I thought I would have a Casey Kasem or Wolfman Jack career.
Oh, there you go.
And instead I was a poor man's Warner.
There you go. There you go. I like it. The music DJ would be kind of fun to do a little bit. Although I'd want to do like the heavy rock and do the rock thing. But I need the gruffier voice. I need to smoke like 2 packs of cigarettes a day kind of thing and be like, hey, this is now Five Finger Death Punch. Welcome into it. I got to work on that.
That's a whole nother story that I can tell you off the air.
Oh, okay. All right. There we go. 316-721-8255. 316-721-TALK right here on the Voice of Reason. Andy Hoosier, John Wright. I want to get into some topical issues this morning as we kind of do the final with me on here, Voice of Reason morning show. Jim Price will be doing it Thursday and Friday for us this week, which we appreciate very much. And Monday, doing it from the middays, 11 to 2. John Wright taking over the morning show with the news stuff. The big news of the day, the Alabama Senate passes the near total abortion ban, one of the most stringent anti-abortion legislation in the entire nation, passing HB 314 by a 25-6 vote, a dominant victory for the Republicans and the conservatives on that end, as that is one of the more tougher ones that we've seen. The law only allows exemptions to avoid a serious health risk to the unborn child's mother for the ectopic pregnancy, and if the unborn child has a lethal anomaly, then that would be considered as well. Democrats reintroduced the amendment to exempt rape and incest, but that motion failed 11-21 on the bill. Republican Governor Kay Ivey will have 6 days to sign the legislation, though the bill would not take effect until 6 months after becoming law. The governor said not publicly taking a stance on the bill, but has previously aligned herself as an anti-abortion individual. So it sounds like it will go into effect. It's already passed the House, now passing the Senate, and moving on to the we're now beginning to see, and this is what I love about federalism. What I love about the states being sovereign individual states, and the lack of the forceful oversight of the federal government, which is the way our system's supposed to be.
Yes.
I mean, right?
Supposed to work,
that's the way it's supposed to work. I mean, right now, the first news that we saw, just a few months ago, we saw New York come out with their late-term abortion bill. We saw Virginia come out with to the point you could be in delivery and the baby coming out and being like, you know what, I wanted to consider having an abortion, which is, I can't even fathom going that extreme, but they have passed that one. So we have New York and Virginia that have gone to the other side. Then we have states like Ohio that now just passed the heartbeat bill, to where it's illegal to have an abortion once you detect a heartbeat. And now Alabama with this saying that if a doctor performs an abortion, they could get up to 99 years in prison, as sort of thing. So we have 2 states that are going the opposite direction. Kansas this year was working on some of the abortion bills and tried to do a constitutional amendment, tried to do the abortion pill bill, just the information that Governor Kelly vetoed, saying that all it did was mandate the doctor, saying that if you take the day after pill, then if you choose to reverse that within 48 hours, there is an option for you. Just the information. And that bill was vetoed by Governor Kelly, so we're trying to duke it out in battle here in the state of Kansas. But this is the beauty of federalism right now. And I know the left-wing progressives and the activists on that side are losing their minds over this and saying that they're heartless and they don't care about women and all the. And I don't want to get into the actual argument about abortion pro or con, but just the fact that this is the sovereign states expressing themselves right now. This is a beautiful thing to see. I mean, obviously, I don't agree with what New York and Virginia have done, because I think that is absolutely horrendous, and it breaks my heart just even thinking about it. But then it warms my heart seeing that Ohio and Alabama have come out and taken, a stance on their own. And this is the way federalism is supposed to be.
Exactly. And the bottom line is, you don't want to drive abortion underground. That would just be hideous. That would not be safe for the mother, especially the child, and the ones that care about these people who are in a life and death struggle, literally. So we want to be able to discuss this, to work a reasonable solution to this, but you definitely don't want anyone going to alleys and all that hideous things that come with it. So the more discussion, the more that states can have a say and shape their own laws regarding this matter. Like you, I don't want to get involved in right, wrong type, but let's be humane about it. The humanity is the most important thing.
It really is, and it's a great discussion to have. And as we mentioned, these states being able to come out with their own and decide what's going to happen on the abortion debate. I mean, kudos to Alabama. Hopefully, the governor signs this one, and we can see where it goes. And with the serious health risks to the mother being about the only exception for the abortion issue in Alabama, which, by the way, I mean, is less than like 2% of the abortions that actually take place in the first place anyways. So that's really interesting stuff. Kudos to Alabama. Appreciate that one very much. We'll get another update from like Candons for Life and those organizations here on the program throughout the next couple weeks as we continue.
KQAM News Center. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey will now decide whether to sign legislation that moved through the State House that would allow, or rather outlaw, almost all abortions in the state. State Senator Democrat Bobby Singleton is an opponent of the bill.
I would just like to say to all the women of the state of Alabama, I'm sorry.
Donald Trump Jr. will appear before the Senate Intelligence Committee next month. Correspondent Lauren Fox is following the story.
Trump Jr.'s interview will be limited in time and scope, lasting up to 4 hours and covering a maximum of 6 topics.
After President Trump downplayed his tariff war with Beijing and set a resolution as possible, benchmarks in London, Shanghai, and Tokyo advance. Dow futures are down. The German government says their military has suspended training of Iraqi soldiers due to tensions between the U.S. and Iran, but indicates no specific threat to its own troops. I'm John Trout.
It's time for some straight talk. A phone with all the high-speed data you need is awesome. But 2 phones with unlimited data, that's double awesome. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get 2 lines with our ultimate unlimited plan for just $90. That's unlimited talk, text, and data on 2 lines for up to 45% less. All on America's best 4G LTE networks. Multiply your savings with Straight Talk Wireless, everything for less.
At 60 gigs, we reserve the right to review your account for usage in violation of Straight Talk's terms and conditions. Savings may vary.
At Merrick, we know dogs are in charge. So our dog foods start with deboned meat, poultry, or fish, and Sorry. Coming! Here's your ducky. And because real whole foods are better for your dog, each Merrick recipe is packed with whole fruits and vegetables. Excuse me. You want to go out right now? Okay. Dogs are in charge. Serve them well. Merrick. Available at your local pet store.
Kansas Mid-America Network News. Good Wednesday. A Kansas Court of Appeals candidate whose nomination was rejected by the state Senate says an actions and members' comments about him will discourage qualified people from serving the state. Labette County District Judge Jeffrey Jack also said yesterday that he is happy to put his record up against the Senate's. It voted 38-0 against Jack's nomination to the state's second highest court, his nomination doomed by past political tweets. The Sunflower State has joined 42 other states in a federal lawsuit alleging that large manufacturers of generic drugs have conspired to artificially inflate prices. Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt said the lawsuit alleges 20 firms conspired to inflate prices of more than 100 generic drugs, including drug treatments for diabetes, cancer, and arthritis. Mid-America Network News.
Have foot discomfort? Everyday walking causing you pain? Stop the agony. Unique Feet has affordable solutions to get you up and moving without the pain.
Instead of going to the department store or the big box store where there's no one there to really advise you, we have the ability to recommend different types of over-the-counter devices, and they can be modified extensively for different types of problems.
Unique Feet.
Online at uniquefeetpedorthix.com or at 750 South Hillside in Wichita. A DUI can literally stop a person and their vehicle in its tracks. If you know someone who's gotten a nudge from the judge and their vehicle can't budge without an ignition interlock device, the next right move is Just Right Auto Repair. Just Right Auto Repair at 4312 West Central is Wichita's Intoxilock Ignition Interlock Installation Specialist. Intoxilock is the preferred device of choice among customers and monitoring authorities. Make your vehicle just right in the Quartz site. Just Right Auto Repair, your Intoxilock Ignition Interlock Installation Specialist.
Hi ladies, it's Tiffany, talking about my all-time favorite flooring store, Jabbar's Flooring Outlet. You've heard of Jabbar's Flooring for years. They have the largest selection of carpet, tile, wood, and all your favorite floor coverings in the state. What I really like is the gallery and their design team. Refresh your space this spring at Jabbar's. Take it from me, ladies, a real shopper. Someone who loves a great deal and super quality. See Jabbar's for your new floors. Like they say, the smartest shoppers shop Jabbar's.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker, KQAM. For this morning, sunny and clear, high near 87 with winds gusting up to 20 miles an hour, clear and 63 tonight. Tomorrow, sunny and breezy, high around 86, winds up to 30 miles an hour, mostly clear and 66 tomorrow night with again those gusty winds. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 7:35, it's currently 58 degrees.
Home of the 3-pound burger and hand-cut fries, plus breakfast all day long. 2 Wichita locations and 824 North Baltimore in Derby. Riverside Cafe.
Sure to check it out, AM and FM, KQAMradio.com. You can check out the website, do the online streaming. Also check us out on YouTube right now, youtube.com. Find KQAM Radio. All that good jazz and more right here on The Voice of Reason. 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. As Andy Hoosier, John Wright hanging out in studio. And with us, we got to do this. We have our county update with Sedgwick County Commissioner Mr. Jim Howell, as we do every single Wednesday. I hope this wouldn't be a dry county. I'd be very sad about that.
Is that what that's about?
Yeah, well, that's the only song that I could find that says something about the county.
I can't even tell what it says. I just know you play it. So
it's something about dry county, and that would make me very sad if it was a dry county.
Well,
I'd be doing the Garth Brooks song of the BEEWRUN.
I think there actually are a few dry counties in Kansas still.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
This would make me very sad.
It's weird. Anyway.
Yeah,
although we're not dry.
But now I'm going to get a call from the pot people saying, yeah, but it's dry for the marijuana. You know you're going to get it. I'm sorry. Gosh. I don't want to go down that road today. Jim, how are you, sir?
I'm doing wonderful. I couldn't miss this special day.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It is the last day that I get to do the mornings. Now, I'm not leaving the station, obviously. I'm moving up to the middays. But the last morning show that I'm going to be on, waking you up bright and early.
I think we've done this for quite a long time, haven't we, on Wednesday morning?
Just about a year and a half now. Every Wednesday.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday.
So I really enjoyed it. It's been a tremendous honor for me to be on your show and talk about county stuff. And I try not to be too political. I just simply talk about what's going on in the county.
What's happening.
That's what I do every week.
I bring the politics into it.
And that's okay. I don't mind those questions. Of course, the election season was always fun to talk about the politics a little bit, but generally speaking, there's a lot going on in Sedgwick County, and
sure,
as in the city of Wichita, there's always a lot of issues going on. People don't think about local government as much because I think the pop culture listens to CNN and MSNBC and Fox News. That's pretty much all they get, and so I really love your show. The fact that you do allow us to talk about local politics a little bit, I think it's the most important politics. I mean, honestly, can you change? I love Ron Estes. I heard him on your show earlier this morning.
Mm-hmm.
But, do you think you can really, expect to fix this country through our
Washington,
4th District Congressman? Yeah. And, he's one of 435 in the House and another 100 in the Senate. It doesn't feel like we can really change a lot there. And I just, it kind of feels a little bit hopeless to me. But
sure,
we have 5 county commissioners, and we have a $440+ million budget. We provide a huge amount of services to our community, and we can change things. And so I love being involved, and that's why I think if people want to change the politics that impacts their local communities, the services they see, the infrastructure that they touch, this is a great opportunity to actually interface with local people who can actually make a difference, and that's why I wanted to be involved here.
Yeah, no, that's what it's all about. Ronald Reagan always said the change begins at the dinner table, and the local politics is what you can do. And when we change things at the local level, the city, the county, even the state, when things like that happen, that shows and it reflects in, monkey see, monkey do type of mentality. And when we're flourishing, I mean, I give you guys props all the time, the Sedgwick County Commission, the fact that you've capped how much debt you're allowed to be in, when you try to actually spend things with cash and not actually get into debt, when you've worked on deregulating certain ridiculous regulations on, plumbing or, this or that or the other. We've taken some steps back personally, I think, when it comes to like the whole vaping thing and some ridiculous stuff like that. But overall, the county, I mean, this is one of the very few bodies of government that we've seen that's actually tried to rein themselves in a little bit, which you don't usually see. And if we could do that and see ourselves flourish, which I think Sedgwick County is flourishing more than really any other county around. I mean, no offense to anybody else, but I mean, we're doing very well, I think. that needs to take effect. People need to be saying, what are they doing, so that way we can do the same thing. And that's how capitalism works. That's how the private market ends up flourishing, is because we recognize the value there and we embrace it.
I always appreciate you understanding some of the things we've done and allowing us to talk about those things on the air. I think it does make us a little bit unique here in Sedgwick County, and I love Sedgwick County. In fact, when I ran for this position originally, I didn't say that we had to fix the county. The county was actually on a really good path. I wanted to keep those good things and kind of challenge us and find other things to fix. And we have done some of that since I've been here. But, of course, we have a new commission, and a lot of these things get revisited and re-questioned. And so some of the things like our debt cap, I think that's one of these debates we're going to continue to have, whether that should or should not be a thing.
That's not getting raised again, is it?
Well, there's discussion. I can't say for sure, but we passed a few resolutions in 2016. I'll just say this. We just yesterday afternoon, we finished the 5th day of budget hearings. We're not going to have any more budget hearings for our staff to present to the commissioners. That's what we did for the last 5 days. We had, I think 21 different presentations representing 45 different agencies, and they present all of their spending requests, and they call them decision packages. And so all that was presented to the county commissioners over the last 5 days. And I'll just say this: we're going to grow the budget quite a lot this year if we do all the things that are coming to us. In fact, the manager, appreciate him. You might have him on your show one of these days, but Mr. Thomas Stoltz, he actually has filtered out probably a little more than $5 million worth of spending packages before it even came to us. And so we have about $11 million worth of potential growth this year. And some people would like to say, well, let's just do all those things because it all sounds like it's really important. The problem is there's not money for all that. So we've got to make priorities. We have to make decisions on what things we want to fund and which things we can't fund. And there's been a lot of discussion in the last day or so about we have two self-imposed tax limits. One of what we call them tax lids. There was one by the state of Kansas actually that people in local government, they don't like it because it puts a constraint on what we can do in terms of raising taxes.
Sure.
But we have two self-imposed lids here in Sedgwick County we passed in 2016. One of those is we try to ignore the technical adjustment that happens every year and drive back to a target mill levy each year so our mill levy doesn't creep up over time. If you don't do that, over time you'll have a several mill increase. I think Wichita says they've never voted for a tax increase, but mill levy today is higher than it was 15 years ago because these technical increases do add up over time. And so we're trying to ignore those technical increases that's done by the calculation, frankly, by administration of the tax law.
Sure.
And it keeps our tax mill levy exactly the same every year. Try it as much as we possibly can. But that's self-imposed, and so there's a debate whether we should just stop doing that and go back to the old way of doing things. And there's also a planned reduction of 0.6 mils in 2023 that because we're paying off debt, we don't need the money. We would like to capture that in a tax cut. And so there's debate right now whether or not we want to revisit that and change that.
But wouldn't it be nice to get some tax cuts around here like that? That'd be nice.
Yeah, and of course, you don't hear that very often from government. But the discussion is this: well, gosh, how much is a mill of property tax on a $100,000 home? The answer is it's $11.50. So if you cut 0.6 mils, it's about $7. Let's just say $7 tax cut over a year on a $100,000 house. Is it worth talking about? I think it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
People say, well, gosh, it's not very much money, but that adds up. And it's compounding. And so, it is important. But, if we can take that $7 and do something extraordinary that the public wants, that's a discussion we can have.
Sure.
But as we sit right now, it's planned that 0.6 mils is going to go as a tax cut in 2023. It's an interesting discussion. And so we have commissioners right now that weren't there in 2016. They didn't vote for that. And they're looking at me like, well, why did you do this?
Yeah.
And that's the debate we're having right now. And doesn't mean, I don't know where this ends up. We'll have to see. But I assure you this debate will continue.
Well, I know that a lot of people, we talked about this a few weeks ago, was the mill levy and the fact that it was getting raised and the property values going up just a little bit and people panicky because they were paying more in property taxes. And, that was the discussion from a few weeks ago. So that's a continuation of what we could potentially see in the next couple of years here in the county.
I would agree. And I always like talking about that My Local Taxes website. If you go to the county website, sedgwickcounty.org, and you looked up this little link called My Local Taxes under the Treasurer's page there. What that does, it shows you the various jurisdictions, and you can see how much you're paying to schools, how much you're paying to the city, how much you're paying to the county, and how much to the state.
And think about this, and John, I don't know if you've seen this or not.
I've seen it, yes.
When
As
you
a
go on there,
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's really neat, but the amount of money, and we talked about this yesterday, the amount of money that goes into the education system at the local level from your property tax, then we talk about how much goes in from your income tax and sales tax and all the other stuff at the state level.
Right.
I mean, I think probably 80% of my state and local taxes go to education in some way, shape, or form. This is ridiculous.
That may be true.
That is crazy.
But there's just an average person in Sedgwick County is probably paying around 140 to 150 mills altogether, and about 29, just under 30 mills of that is Sedgwick County government. And so we're talking about we're cutting 0.6 mills. To us, it's a pretty big percentage of our total budget. But in terms of your total tax exposure, the county really isn't really a big part of your total tax liability. I'll say this, and this is actually good for Sedgwick. I think you'll like this, Andy. There is a website I'll send you the link on this, but Sedgwick County actually levies, I believe we're out of the 105 counties in Kansas, we are, I believe, the lowest tax per capita for county government in the state of Kansas. I think we're 105 out of 105. We're the lowest taxes.
Wow.
I believe that's the right. We're either number one or number two lowest in the state.
That's what I'm talking about. See, we should celebrate that.
And see, that's part of the transparency that needs to continue.
Right.
And that gets homeowners, oh my goodness, they're actually listening to me.
Exactly.
And then, as Jim mentioned, there's money out there that you can use for a big or special project.
Yeah. But at the same time, John, we're talking about an explosion of mental health problems going on in this country, and I appreciate your role in the Real Men, Real Heroes program. But there's lots of fatherlessness and lots of children problems, and the government
family values breaking apart.
It's kind of what that is. I see it everywhere, but I'm not sure the government can solve a lot of these problems, but we do have treatment programs, we have counseling programs, we've got jobs programs. And these things, it seems like as the more dysfunction continues to develop around us in our culture, a lot of these types of programs it sounds like maybe it's more relevant, maybe somewhat of an answer in some ways. And there's maybe a bit of a bigger demand on government to do something. Mm-hmm. One of my colleagues has articulated in the last few weeks a very great concern for the suicide rate. And I've mentioned this before. Suicide in Sedgwick County is, I think, doubled in the last couple of years. It is crazy what's going on there. I feel so, helpless that we can't really address this in an effective way. But should we try? What do we do? And so there's a lot of concerns there. I'm also personally very concerned about our senior population. I noticed that our senior population since 1985 has nearly doubled, and now our population has gone up.
Sure.
And since 1985, we've gone up about 150,000 people in the last 35 years. That's about how much our county has grown.
Sure.
But our senior population has doubled.
Wow.
And as we look at those trends, people are having less kids. The pressures on Social Security program. Well, if you apply that to the fact we have an aging community that depends a little bit more on government for Medicaid. Now, by the way, not Medicaid expansion. They're already on Medicare at age 65, but if they become very poor, they might have a Medicaid supplement, but that has nothing to do with Medicaid expansion.
Right. The program that's already there and already running. Yeah.
Program that's there already is for the disabled and the poor. And as people age, if they end up in one of those situations, they might get some Medicaid support as an older person in Sedgwick County. But that is very, very expensive, and the pressure on that part of our financial needs for that part of our population is also exploding. And so you see these converging lines.
Right.
What do? Does government respond by having larger taxes and having more programs and trying to address these things, or do we simply say we want to stay? Size and scope of government was fine for last generation. Let's just keep it where we're at. We don't need to grow the government. The government's not the answer to every problem. That's what a conservative would say, right? So I see, I'm torn between the different discussions. I see I want to help people,
right?
But I also want to keep our government, small, and I want to be free.
Well, and as you mentioned, the way you help them is to be able to have organizations and programs that are able to assist in helping get people back up. Because, as you mentioned, the government's not efficient enough to do it. So if we allow the individuals to succeed, then programs and private opportunities begin to help people get up on their feet. And then it's a win-win. So then by default, we are helping individuals. And that's what conservatives always try and talk about.
And believe it or not, as a conservative, and I'm sure you know this too, that sometimes you can spend some money and invest in somebody on the front end and you actually save money on the back end. If you don't have a program, actually it gets very expensive. And you may not have a choice on when it gets to incarceration and adjudication of crimes and property crimes and violent crimes. Drug abuse presents itself in so many ways to the taxpayer. We don't have a choice. We just deal with the aftermath by not having effective programming on the front end. So a conservative program might say, well, let's go ahead and support this treatment, this thing that helps someone not go down this bad path. You know, some of these programs, although we're spending money in some ways we didn't used to, and it may be the most conservative thing. And you know my history on this. And I'm not sure that you do, but I got very involved in the Judge Riddell Boys Ranch issue.
Right, yeah, I'm very familiar with
and
that.
I was so convinced that we spent about $1.5 million from the county, but we saved $1 million taxpayer dollars in the county. I mean, we saved $1 million more than what we were spending. If that makes any sense. So it actually was a financial investment, if you will, in the county taxpayers, is saying we should spend this money on these kids because by not having this program, it will cost us more.
Exactly.
And so the conservative position was to have the program. And how do I know those numbers were right? Well, we don't know for sure, but we had WSU do a lot of analysis on that over time, and that program had been around for more than 50 years, and we saw it work. And there's untold people in this community that have jobs and businesses and families and are paying taxes because that program put them on the right path. I've seen it work. And so that's I call that good government. We ought to have those types of programs. Sometimes we do things in government that don't work. And again, we've got to be willing to cut those things off. Right.
We got about 45 seconds left. We're almost out of time, but you guys have a meeting today as well.
Yeah, we don't have a lot going on, believe it or not. We've had. I know it's going to be a short meeting. We actually have one thing I think is really noteworthy. There's a comprehensive plan adjustment amendment package for a square mile over by 21st to 29th in Oliver, I think the hillside. We're going to debate whether we want to change our community investment plan or our comprehensive plan for that. That's very debatable. We've had split votes at the DAB board, at the city council, and the MAPC, and it's coming to the county for a final vote. So this will be a very interesting discussion today. Other than that, we're just going to pay the bills.
Build the road. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There we go. Good. Well, it's going to be fun. I mean, it's still important for people to show up. And they can even bring up topics on their own at the meetings as well.
Yeah, we have public comment. It's a great opportunity. People come in. They want to raise a new issue. If you're not happy with county government, that's the first thing you should do is come talk to us. And I don't mind doing this in a public, open meeting that's recorded and broadcast on the airwaves, and it's on YouTube and on the internet.
We're watching.
What a great way to get an issue some attention. So come on in. Third floor of the county courthouse at Central and Main, the northwest corner at 9 o'clock. And I would love people to come up and talk to us.
Hey, I love it. Jim, well, I appreciate you coming in studio today for the final morning interview that we're doing. Now, you're going to carry on with me in the middle of the day.
If you invite me, I'll be there.
You're going to be there. So, and actually, it'll be cool because then we can do a recap of the meeting from that day.
That's right.
So that'll be perfect. So we'll do that starting here next week. And we appreciate you coming in and doing this in the mornings with us for all this time.
Thank you again. I wish you the best. And I wish you also the best.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate
that.
So
much.
Absolutely. Let's take a break here. 8 minutes to the top of the hour. Jim Howell, Sedgwick County Commissioner there. When we come back, hour number 3, Ken Coleman, personality from Dave Ramsey and his new book. We'll chat with him at 8 o'clock right here on The Voice of Reason on KQAM.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Market information, Mid-America Ag Network. I'm Craig Mead. Live cattle futures were down 20 cents to 55 cents in most contracts on a Tuesday. Feeder cattle futures felt some pressure from the higher price of corn, down 60 cents to $1.17 as May was up 95 cents. The CME feeder cattle index down 32 cents to 135.07 on May 13th. Wholesale boxed beef prices mixed Tuesday afternoon. Choice boxes were down $1.46 at $2.2012. Select boxes were 8 cents higher at $2.0897. Estimated federally inspected cattle slaughter 242,000 head through Tuesday. Lean hog futures steady to 245 higher in most contracts Tuesday. The lean hog index up 24 cents from the previous day, 83.04 May 10th. Pork carcass cutout value was up 40 cents at 88.64 Tuesday afternoon. The national average base hog carcass price 82.02 Tuesday, up $1.14 from the day before. Estimated weekly federally inspected hog slaughter 921,000 head for the week to date through Tuesday. That's 21,000 head below last week. Refocusing now. Corn, soybeans, wheat. Corn futures are trading as much as 8 cents higher this morning, with buying focused on nearby contracts. Double-digit gains yesterday. Soybean futures are 10 to 12 cents higher on more short covering after posting 29-cent gains in some contracts Tuesday. And wheat futures are as much as 7 cents higher this morning after closing Tuesday with most winter wheat contracts up as much as 12 cents. As of this minute, July corn is up 7 3/4 at 376.5. July Kansas City wheat is up 6 3/4 at 415.5. September up 7 at 426.5. Soybeans look well. July beans up 8 1/4 at 839 3/4. August soybeans are up 8 3/4 at 846 3/4. Soybean meal and soybean oil are coming along for the ride higher as well. So far, corn, wheat, and soybeans doing nicely on Wednesday. Market update, Mid-America Ag Network.
The sound of the bat, the smell of the grass, peanuts and popcorn. Nothing beats a day at the game. 1480 AM, 102.5 FM, KQAM, and Hog Wild Pit Barbecue want to give you that experience with the Kansas City Royals. Stop by one of the 6 Hog Wild Pit Barbecue locations and register for you and a guest to travel to KC and enjoy a game at Kauffman Stadium. Tickets will be given away May 23rd, so stop by a Hog Wild Pit Barbecue and get registered today. A Kansas City Royal getaway from Hog Wild Pit Barbecue and 1480 AM, 102.5 FM, KQAM.
It's time for a mulch alert. It's time to check in for the latest from Pride Ag Ace Hardware of Maize.
Time to lay down some fresh mulch for spring, so stock up at Pride Ag Ace Hardware, where grade A cedar mulch is everyday low priced at just $6.49 a bag. Pride Ag Ace Hardware, 5204 North Maze Road. Remember, if you're not at Ace, you're at the wrong place.
Pride Ag Ace Hardware of Maize, online at prideagace.com or visit them at 5204 North Maze Road in Maize. The mulch alert is happening now.
For a great time, it is Champs Bar and Grill on South Seneca, just south of Kellogg. Mike Chappell, you guys have something going on every day.
Tell you one thing we have every day that everybody loves, and that's Fireball Power Hour. Every day during happy hour and from 10 p.m. to midnight, it's $2 Fireball shot every day.
And at Champs, there's a great outdoor area to have fun.
We have 3 regulation-size horseshoe pits. We've done some additions in the back with our upgrades to our picnic tables. Every single night, kicking off about 9:30, we got karaoke, and we've got a lot of TVs to watch these NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs on.
Why not give Wedgwood Golf Course in Halstead a try? It's the biggest little golf course in Kansas. And once you've arrived, you'll realize you've stepped onto the biggest value per dollar for golf in South Central Kansas. Check out their fully renovated course, including new fairways, tees, and approaches, all redone in 2018. Wedgwood in Halstead is destination golf on a municipal course with a private club feel, and they're open 8 to 8 every day. Wedgwood Golf Course, located just northeast of Halstead.
The Pro Z Series zero-turn mowers from Cub Cadet don't pull punches, they pack them. Featuring maintenance-free spindles, air-ride suspension seats, and the only 777-gauge steel deck in the industry. Designed after tens of thousands of hours by testing by pro landscapers, the Pro Z Series mowers are pro-tested and pro-approved. Visit your local Cub Cadet dealer and demo the new Pro Z Series. For expert advice, superior service, and exceptional offers, visit Trailers and More at 433 North Maze Road, 1.5 miles north of Kellogg in Wichita today.
News, weather, and information on local shows. Visit us online at kqamradio.com.
Welcome back into The Voice of Reason, wrapping up hour number 2. It goes by so fast. Thanks again, Sedgwick County Commissioner Jim Howell, joining the program as he does every Wednesday, and he'll do that again as we do the time change for the show starting next week. He'll be on Wednesdays at 1 p.m., and we'll get him and it'll be nice because then we can do a recap of what the county commission did that morning, and then we can actually talk about it then. Hour number 3 right around the corner. When we come back, I'm so excited to have this guy on the show. We've had some of the other Dave Ramsey personalities on. Chris Hogan we've had on a couple of times with some of the books there, but this guy, as he talks about your careers, what you want to do, are you happy with what you're doing? And if not, then how the heck do you get to where you need to be and what you want to do and to be happy? But the new book, The Proximity Principle, it's Ken Coleman, Dave Ramsey personality. Yeah, baby, we'll chat with him live coming up at 8 o'clock right after the top of the hour when we come back for hour number 3. It's The Voice of Reason on KQAM. Stay right here. Lots more coming up.
Are you ready for a little ACDZ? No, ACDZ, Air Capital Drop Zone. Air Capital Drop Zone is just 10 minutes south of Wichita. Whether skydiving is on your list or you're interested in a gift certificate for someone special, Air Capital Drop Zone is there to share the skydiving experience with you. Thousands of safe tandem and solo skydives since 2001. Air Capital Drop Zone, 776-1700 or online at aircapitaldropzone.com. The Laundry Station in Wichita is Kansas' premier laundry services provider. The Laundry Station has machines for all of your needs in the Wichita area. In fact, the largest machine can handle 10 loads at a time. And for those of you who are not do-it-yourselfers, the Laundry Station's premium wash-dry-fold service allows you to drop off and pick up your laundry the same day in most cases. Conveniently located in the heart of Wichita, on Oliver at Kellogg. The Laundry Station, and online at thelaundrystationks.com.
This is a Steckline Communication Station, K273CX, FM 102.5, and AM 1480 KQAM, Wichita proud. It's time for your latest news from the KQAM News Center. Brought to you by Augusta Flight Center, with the largest and most diverse fleet of rental aircraft in central Kansas. Learn more at iflyaugusta.com.
Good Wednesday morning. A 26-year-old Wichita man has pled guilty to second-degree murder in the death of his girlfriend's 2-year-old son. Lucas Deal accepted a plea deal this week in the death of Anthony Bunn. The boy was found unresponsive in a home in May of last year. Police say he suffered severe head injuries. Under the deal, Lucas Deal is expected to be sentenced to nearly 49 years in prison when he's sentenced on the 25th of June. The boy's mother, Elizabeth Woolheater, has also been charged with murder in the boy's death. She's scheduled for a hearing later this month. A busy agenda for the Wichita City Council yesterday. The proposal for an 80-foot tall cell phone tower at the northwest corner of 18th Street and North Woodland in Riverside met serious opposition from nearby residents, and the council voted yesterday to deny a permit for that tower. The construction of the cell phone tower in Riverside was denied by the City Council by a vote of 5-2. In other council action yesterday, the City Council delayed action for a week on a proposal regarding the future of the Gander Mountain building so the city could finalize terms of a contract with King of Freight. King of Freight does freight logistics and is looking to purchase the Gander Mountain building for its local headquarters. The company says by moving into the vacant space, it will help the company expand and create 400 additional new jobs with an average salary of more than $50,000. And the City Council yesterday gave the green light for the city to purchase 4 electric buses. KWCH-TV reports that Wichita Transit says they should be delivered in October. Wichita Transit says the cost of buying electric buses is higher than diesel buses, but with a switch from diesel to electric, the city would save millions of dollars in the long run. And forecasters say early summer-like temperatures will prevail in south-central Kansas through tomorrow. Then chances of rain are on tap for Friday and Saturday. From the KQAM News Desk, I'm Rick Everett.
High school baseball and softball regionals are underway. Some regional champs that advanced onto the state tournament. In the softball side, it was Northwest, Goddard, and Mays South. In the baseball side, it was Mulvane and Independent. Derby advanced in both baseball and softball. Regional play continues tonight. The Royals turned into an offensive machine last night, getting 18 batters to the plate in the first 2 innings. The Royals had 14 hits and scored 11 runs to beat the Texas Rangers in the opening game of the series 11-5. From KGSO Sports Desk, I'm Doug Downs.
Ah, yes, the sound of hail on your vehicle. Never a good thing. Norris Collision Center of Goddard has you covered, though, with conventional body and paint repairs as well as paintless dent repair. And Norris Collision Center of Goddard works with all insurance companies. Remember, you have the right to choose where you have your vehicle repaired. Come see your local body shop in Goddard with the home of the limited lifetime warranty. Norris Collision Center of Goddard. Big city quality, small town service.
Here's some simple math for you. Chevy cars and trucks just cost less at Countryside Motors in Wellington. You want the best price on a Silverado in Kansas or Oklahoma? Check out Countryside Motors in Wellington. Are you looking for that perfect SUV? They have the great selection of Buick Enclaves, Envisions, and Encores, again, at the best prices anywhere. Countryside Motors in Wellington. Folks, it's simple math. For the best prices on cars and trucks, check out Countryside Motors in Wellington. Online at countrysidemotors.net. Simple math. Best prices. Come on out to the country and save. Countryside Motors in Wellington, Kansas.
Have you ever stopped to think about just how many songs have been written about time? Multiply it by hundreds. And that's the number of timepieces at Scott Child's Old Time Clock Shop.
Could save time in a bottle.
Scott Child's Old Time Clock Shop. 1946 West 13th Street North in the heart of Riverside.
The latest news from the Big Talker, KQAM. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey will now decide whether to sign legislation that moved through the State House that would allow, or rather outlaw, almost all abortions in the state. State Senator Democrat Bobby Singleton is an opponent of the bill.
I would just like to say to all the women of the state of Alabama, I'm sorry.
Donald Trump Jr. will appear before the Senate Intelligence Committee next month. Correspondent Lauren Fox is following the story.
Trump Jr.'s interview will be limited in time and scope, lasting up to 4 hours and covering a maximum of 6 topics.
After President Trump downplayed his tariff war with Beijing and set a resolution as possible, benchmarks in London, Shanghai, and Tokyo advance. Dow futures are down. The German government says their military has suspended training of Iraqi soldiers due to tensions between the U.S. and Iran, but indicates no specific threat to its own troops. I'm John Trout.
Your local weather on KQAM, brought to you by Jewelry Savers. Conveniently located off K96 on Greenwich Road. The Kansas trusted jewelry source since 1971. Jewelry Savers.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker, KQAM. For this morning, sunny and clear, high near 87 with winds gusting up to 20 miles an hour, clear and 63 tonight. Tomorrow, sunny and breezy, high around 86, winds up to 30 miles an hour, mostly clear and 66 tomorrow night with again those gusty winds. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 8:06, it's currently 58 degrees.
Hey, it's Joe Pags. Join me live afternoons at 5 right here on the Big Talker, AM 1480, 102.5 FM, KQAM.
It's time for Reason.
They wanted to stand strong, but these are the same ones that when we say, hey, you run in as a Republican, can you support Republican values, please? Republican value for 800, please. And then they end up not doing that because we kind of know where they stand on issues. So now they tried to be bold, and it was really cute watching them be bold, and they ended up caving after a couple hours, and therefore now Medicaid officially has been done, is dead for this year, and will not come back this year.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
There it is. I can't believe it. Welcome into the Voice of Reason. It's hour number 3 of the Voice of Reason, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas on the Big Talker KQAM. We are simulcasting on YouTube as well. Check it out, youtube.com. Find KQAM Radio as you can subscribe, watch us live, all that good jazz. Andy Hoosier along with John Wright hanging out as we get ready for the station transition next week. John Wright taking over the mornings with the news, weather, traffic, good stuff. I'll be keeping on the topical issues as we move to the middle of the day from 11 to 2. Hey, welcome in. 316-721-8255. 316-721-TALK. If you want to join in on the Shocker Pools hotlines, we'd love to hear from you. But I'm really excited. We need to get our guest on and get him rolling because I am so excited to chat with this guy. As you can hear Dave Ramsey live 2 to 5 right here on KQAM every single day, and the personalities that fill in for him and chat with him and talk about stuff all the time. We've had Chris Hogan on many times before with his books, and I'm really excited to have this guy on. Let me ask you something. Are you tired of maybe the job or the career that you're in? That's a question to think about. Some people are like, I got to wake up. I got to go to work today, and I don't want to do it. And that's more than just the millennial that gets the avocado latte in the morning, but that's also people who actually legitimately need to find a job that they enjoy. This guy talks about it each and every day with the Ken Coleman Show. And his latest book, The Proximity Principle, I'm really excited to chat with here. It's Mr. Ken Coleman on the line with us here. Ken, how are you, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing well, Andy. Thanks for having me.
Oh, great. It's great to have you on here. I appreciate you joining us. And you're already heading out doing the book tour. How's the book going so far? Everything going well?
Yeah, we're really excited with the response, and we just know that once this book gets in hands of people who really want to make a change but have been scared or they just face a ton of doubt, that they're going to see a very simple, proven process. And we're just having a blast. Great book signing last night in Chicago. I'm in the hotel room here in Chicago. We'll head back to Nashville for 2 days of media there, and then back out to the West Coast, and just having a blast.
I love it. It is a very scary thing if someone's been doing something for even whether it's 6 months or a year or whether it's 10 years. I'm a guy who doesn't like change. I like consistency. I like my norm. I like going through the routine, and going and diverting from that is a very scary thing. Do a lot of people have that same kind of fear if they're talking about completely upheaving their lives and going to a different career?
Well, there's no question. Let's talk about a couple of those real fears that your listeners have. Fear of the unknown is the biggest. It's just the scariest fear that we as humans face. If I tell you what the risks are in a move or a change, then you can at least consider those risks. But if you don't know how the path is going to end up, you're not sure of the timing, that's very terrifying for folks. So fear of the unknown is a big one. Fear of failure, financial failure, or going after it and you get rejected, that's a fear. Fear of what others are going to say, fear of peers. I get calls like this on my show every day. I'm afraid to tell my parents that I'm not going to use the major that I went to school for, or I'm afraid to tell my friends that I'm switching careers at 38 or 40. And so those are the fears that people face, and it's just like when our kids, Andy, would call us up to our room when they were little. I think there's something in the closet. I think there's something under the bed. And we know it's irrational, but no matter how often we coax them with the truth, they won't relax until we turn the lights on, open the closet door, or get under the bed. And that's what you have to do with fear. You have to shine the light of truth on the fear. And the book does that by showing you the people and the places, specific people and specific places that if you get in proximity to these people and in these places, opportunity will actually show up. You won't have to be searching aimlessly for it.
And that's a good position to be in. I know that, a lot of individuals that the career changes or the opportunities or job changes or better opportunities come to them when they're not even looking for it, and it's different from when you're desperately looking for something because you're in a bad spot and you want to change it, as opposed to I'm okay right now, and then you get 5 offers because people are like, hey, we like what you're doing.
That's exactly right. See, when we get in the right places, opportunity comes to us at the right time. We don't have to worry about timing. If we're doing the right thing in the right place, the time will come to us. It's like a train station. And so, we have just looked at history. We looked at my journey. I mean, Andy, I don't know how well you know my story, but I started into broadcasting at 33. That is a long shot. I mean, I was playing the long odds. You know that as well as anybody. I switched careers, didn't have any contacts, didn't have a degree in broadcasting, but 9 years after I took a broadcasting class, I stepped into that SiriusXM national show for Dave Ramsey, and hosted his show 50 times, one of the top shows in America. Mm-hmm. These things don't happen overnight. It was a season of intentionality. This is a daily ritual, this proximity principle. But the good news is, if you apply it, you will progress. There's no question about it.
I love it. We're talking with Ken Coleman. The book is The Proximity Principle. I've heard a study, and maybe you can go a little bit deeper into this, about how the older now, I'm a millennial. I'm 30 right now, and I apologize for my generation every day, but there is from what I've heard, there's a difference in mentality with the older generations where they did a job and they did it for their entire life, and they maybe only changed jobs once or twice, but they had their career and they did their thing, as opposed to, I've heard that my generation really changes careers like 6 or 7 times in their lifetime. Is that correct?
That's absolutely right. In fact, go a little deeper. There's 2 pieces of information about millennials that I think is really refreshing, actually. Number one, they, more than any previous generation, care more about whether or not they love their work. So the number one thing that millennials are looking for in a job is, do I connect to the work? Number 2 is, am I good at it? And then number 3 is compensation. That's a complete overhaul from my generation, Gen X, and of course, the baby boomers. And so there's another piece of data that's really fascinating, is what you alluded to, and that is that most millennials, when they enter the workforce, they only plan to be at that job initially for 1 year. They're not thinking, I'm going to do this for 30 years and turn widgets, like my parents did, and certainly the greatest generation above the boomers.
Sure. That's wild. That's wild to think about. And yeah, I mean, we're all about, I guess, being happy and content. And I guess whatever we get paid for, then cool. We'll just kind of roll with
Well,
it.
yeah, but I think it's deeper than that. I want to brag on millennials for a moment because I think millennials get a bad rap, and I think that's garbage.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's incumbent on Gen X and baby boomers to learn how to lead millennials, and that's part of leadership. So welcome to the dance. But what I love about millennials is that the reason they think that way is because they want to continue to progress and do more and be more. And that's not exclusive to the millennials. It's just that they're more willing to act out on those thoughts and feelings, whereas previous generations would not act out on those thoughts and feelings.
I like that. That's a great way to look at it. We're always growing. I always say on the radio that if I'm not growing, then I'm falling behind. And that's whether it's the radio show and listenership, or whether it's, the family, or whether it's the life or whatever I'm into, if I'm not growing, then I'm falling behind, because I do that. I feel like I need to progress all the time.
Well, I think what you're doing is you are recognizing the human spirit of progress. We as humans want to grow. That's why I do what I do. I know that human beings want to come to work and do something that matters. We spend, you ready for this, Andy? The average American in their work career, their whole span, is the average American is going to spend 90,000 hours at work. Wow. Now, you let that sink in. Why in the world? So that is the majority of your life you will spend at work. Why in the world would you spend time doing something that has no connection to your heart? And I'm in that business. It's a revolution, man, and we're helping people, as you know, on the Ken Coleman Show, day after day, call after call. And this book, by the way, is a real formula. It takes the fear out of climbing the mountain. We're going to tell you who you need to get around, the places you need to be in. They're very specific, as you know. There's practices at the end in the third section that help you know what to do when you're around these people and what to do when you're in these places. But if you get this concept and begin to practice it, I'm telling you, momentum's going to hit your life like you've never experienced.
Man, I love it. It's Ken Coleman, the Proximity Principle. Talk about some of the influences in your life if you're looking to do that, change the people, whether it's the professors, the mentors that you have, your peers, your boss, or maybe someone under you. I mean, who can influence you to give you the right tools, the right tips, or that encouragement even to take you to that next step and want to take that leap of faith?
Yeah, I'll just pull out one of the people. You mentioned a few. I'll pull out one called the producer. These are archetypes, so these are types of people that we outline, who they are and where you find them. And I think for anybody that's looking to make a switch, or if you're coming right out of college, one of the most important things you can do is sit down with a producer. And what we call the producer in the book is a man or woman in your craft, in your trade, who is very successful, and successful to the point that they're also hiring people. So they're creating jobs. And you want to get coffee with them. You want to get lunch with them. You want to shadow them if they'll allow. And what you're looking to do is to sit down and to grab from them insight on how they got where they are. Men and women love to talk about themselves. And if you show up with humility, to say, hey, I want to learn from you. You're where I want to be one day. I've got some questions that I want to ask. And I am crazy grateful, and I want your insight. And who else would you recommend that I sit down and talk with? Here's what's going to happen. That person, 9 out of 10 times, is going to say yes. And they're going to give you a master's degree in real information that will help you get where you want to go. And they're also going to probably, in that time, and say, hey, there's a couple other people I want to introduce you to. And they may just remember you in the future and call you and hire you. But you're not there asking for a job. You're there asking for insight, because these people are where you want to be. And when you do things like this, you won't believe how they'll open up doors for you, put you in the right places. Then when you get in the right places, you meet more of those right people. So, the example here is I had a caller who did this with a neighbor. He wanted to move from, he had been a CPA, and he wanted to move into technology. Knew a neighbor down the street, never talked to him other than just small talk. Knew he ran a technology company. He practiced his proximity principle, took this guy to lunch, didn't ask for a job. He asked all the questions. How can I move into this industry? What's the great way to transition as I'm, in my 40s? The guy did all the insight, gave him encouragement. They went their separate ways. 8 weeks later, he gets an email from this guy. He says, hey, I just approved a position for my company that I think you'd be a great fit for. You popped into my mind. I'd really like you to interview for it. he did. He got the gig.
Wow.
That's how the proximity principle works.
I love it. And it really does re-embrace the old adage of, I mean, you need to know what you're doing as well, but it's not always about what you know, but about who you know and those connections that you make.
Well, that's absolutely right, this old adage. And what we did is we expanded this. We said, okay, it is who you know, but it's also where you are. You know, if I hear from somebody who says, Ken, I can't catch a break, I know instantly that they're not hanging around the right people and they're not in the right places.
Mm-hmm.
Because opportunity comes to us when we are constantly in a place where opportunity can find us. So I liken it to a train station. You know, we were just in New York, first day of media, and we walked by Grand Central Station, and I just walked in there just to kind of get a sense of it. And it's a wonderful, most famous, train station probably in the world. And I looked at the board and looked at all the trains that are coming, and this is the idea of proximity. In the space you want to be in, if you're around people that are doing it and in places where that's the trade, the craft is happening, it's like being at a train station.
Sure.
It's coming, I promise you. And this book, by the way, Andy, takes the fear out of the journey. And I think that's what I'm so excited about.
And that's exactly what we need, because as you mentioned, I mean, you're hesitant, you're scared financially. Oh my gosh, can I take that leap? Am I going to be sound? Am I going to be able to take care of my family? It's all that kind of stuff. And this is exactly what we need to hear. It's the proximity principle, Ken Coleman, the Ken Coleman Show. Also, you can hear him when you jump on Dave Ramsey as well, which we are here on KQAM. But, Ken, it's really great to talk to you, my friend. I know you're traveling around doing the book tours all over the place. But as you mentioned, you got a long book tour still ahead of you?
Yeah, well, we got another week and a half, and just want people to know the book is out. They can get it at kencoleman.com, Amazon, wherever books are sold, all the formats. And so we appreciate the opportunity. And what you do is so important, and we thank you at Ramsey Solutions for being a part of what you're doing. And congrats, by the way, on the new time slot.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, moving up to the middays, and it's going to be fun kind of giving people a break. And, as they doze off for their lunch break, then we can keep them entertained. There you go.
Well, I'm excited for you, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, appreciate it, Ken. Have a great one, my friend. We'll talk again soon.
Yes, sir.
Hey, there we go. 20 minutes past the hour. Ken Coleman Show. The book, The Proximity Principle. Great book. I mean, that's some really great information.
Definitely hit the nail on the head with the millennials and what they're thinking and how they need to move themselves or herself into position to move forward, to get that job, to make those connections and relationships, which, as he mentioned, 8 years, a few months later, the fellow got a job.
Yeah, absolutely.
That direct meeting that set the stage for him.
Reach out, ask the questions, and do your thing, and you'll be able to see it grow. And that's really. I'm trying to think how many careers I've had, like actual careers. And I've been in radio, and I've been in banking, and then I've had some odd, and I wouldn't call them careers, but I did do jobs like he mentioned, just for like a year or so, or a few months, just to try and carry my way through to the next venture. So if you consider those, I guess I have already hit my 6 or 7. But that is fascinating that we are much different than the older generation. It's like, you know what, I'm going to work my one job and I'm going to do it for 30 years and I'm going to retire there and it's all going to be great.
And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
3 decades in news at one spot. I don't really count college radio. That was an experiment.
That's a whole nother field there.
Yeah, whole nother thing there. And then I'm out doing other things, and over those years, met folks from this station, and then the next thing you know, I'm behind a microphone.
Yeah, there you go.
That's how it works.
Well, radio, once it gets in your blood, man, it just doesn't go anywhere. No, this is the fun one here. Yeah. Got to take a break. 22 minutes past the hour. When we come back, it's open lines to you. We're going to do a little transition fun that we'll have here with the morning show and with the voice of reason moving to the middays. We'll do all that. We'll get your phone calls. We have some. I have not forgotten. We'll do some Rocklahoma ticket giveaways here before the end of the hour, like within, I don't know, the next half hour. Hint, hint, wink, wink. So we'll do that coming up a little bit as well. 22 minutes past. This is the voice of reason right here on KQAM.
Yesterday, Facebook said they fixed a major security problem in their chat app that let anyone spy on your phone. It affects a whopping 1.5 billion users. The crazy part is that hackers only needed to call you to install their spyware. Kim Commando with your Wednesday Consumer Tech Update, brought to you by SimpliSafe, the best security system for your home, period. Don't live in fear. Get yours at simplysafekim.com. It certainly sounds like James Bond would have been involved in this digital espionage. Hackers could install spying tools just by calling you when you were using WhatsApp, owned by Facebook. The hacker's malicious code was transmitted from them to you, even if you didn't answer your phone. And then get this, any mention of the call in the app's log files disappeared too. Be sure that you install the latest WhatsApp update. And speaking of, Intel said a new security flaw affects millions of PCs. We have details how to get that update on my website, commando.com. It's a doozy too. I'm Kim Commando. There's nothing small about your business. Your impact on the community has made a huge difference. As a thank you during Small Business Month, Dell is offering up to 45% off select computers with Intel Core processors. Plus, get a free external hard drive with select PC purchases. Call 877-BUY-DELL to speak with a small business technology advisor today. That's 877-BUY-DELL for tech, advice, and one-on-one partnership.
At Indeed, we believe a resume is a great way to see an overview of a candidate, but you're not hiring a resume, you're hiring a person. That's why Indeed offers tools that help bridge the gap between a candidate and the resume, like skill tests, which let you actually see a candidate's abilities in action to make sure they're a good fit for the job. See beyond the resume with Indeed. Experience Indeed for yourself today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting at Indeed.com/promo. Terms and conditions apply.
You can't handle the truth.
Hi, this is Phil Martinez at Phil's Coins. At the shop, we talk all the time about honesty and integrity. And in our shop, we've decided that honesty means nothing without integrity. So what I would tell you is that if you didn't bring your coins to Phil's Coins, honestly, you didn't get enough money for what you have. Come see us at Phil's Coins, 9344 West Central, or online at philscoins.com.
Coming spring 2019. Hail.
Ouch. Oh.
Wind. Freezing temperatures. Tornadoes. That's mayhem.
Hi, I'm Mark Collier, your local Allstate agent. We're your insurance agency interested in doing what's best for you. Before mayhem strikes, call us at our Goddard office, 316-413-4014, and find us on Facebook at Collier Allstate. Are you in good hands?
The Miller Minute with Dennis Miller.
I want to talk about the Marx Brothers. And no, I don't mean Carl. I know there are rumors now that Trump colluded with him. I am over at TCM today. I'm taping some intros for a series of films, classics, and I've been sitting with my friends Dana Carvey and Martin Short. One of the films we introduced was Duck Soup. It's from way back in 1933, I think. And it's unbelievable how it holds up. And I'm looking at it and thinking, what is it about these guys that carries forth all this time, and some other things from that era don't work at all? And I think the fact is that they're completely subversive in their own way. Groucho cruises into every scene, and he completely upsets the apple cart. He comes in low, borderline malevolent, and he makes me howl. He's balanced by the eternally cherubic Harpo, who comes in and upsets the same apple cart. Chico in the middle, providing the accompanying piano. Genius. And that's the minute.
Some job recruitment sites overload your inbox with resumes. Glassdoor knows not just any will do. From 62 million job seekers, Glassdoor only matches you with qualified candidates who have the skills and experience your small business needs to grow. In fact, Glassdoor hires are 30% more likely to stay with your company longer. And Glassdoor can help you find that perfect candidate in half the resumes. Go to glassdoor.com/hire. Glassdoor. Find the right fit for your business.
Hey, my friend's retail store was the victim of IoT password theft.
Yep. Cyber criminals are taking over security cameras, payment systems, and other IoT devices by exploiting vulnerabilities.
What if they target us and our dispersed network?
We're secured with Barracuda. We have advanced firewalls for our sites, enhanced security for our cloud infrastructure, and total email protection.
Such a relief.
Protect your business at Barracuda.com. Barracuda, your journey secured.
We make talk radio big. This is the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM, KQAM.
This half hour of the broadcast of The Voice of Reason is brought to you by Wildwood Cellars. It's more than just buying that bottle of wine, to make sure you can learn tips about finding the wine that you like, not the wine you're supposed to like. There is a narrative out there of liking a certain type of wine, and maybe you like the dry, the sweet, the semi-in-between, maybe the sangrias, doesn't really matter. But from nationally acclaimed vineyards right here in Kansas, they're off the Turnpike in Mulvane, or right here in Wichita at Maple and Ridge. It's Wildwood Cellars. They have all the different types, flavors, varieties, plus you can try it before you buy it. That's kind of a benefit as well. Take a little sample of that, baby. Have you ever tried mead, by the way, John?
I have not.
Oh, man.
I've been to Wildwood Cellars.
Oh, Wildwood Cellars is amazing. You try that mead because it's made with the honey instead of the sugar, and it's really sweet. You get that elderberry or that elderberry and blackberry mead. I tell you, it's what it's all about. Enjoy it. Plus the elderberry concentrate they have as well. It's Wichita, Maple and Ridge, or just off the Turnpike in Mulvane, online at wildwoodsellars.com. Again, wildwoodsellars.com. Bottom of the hour news coming up. We have a listener on the line. Don't go anywhere. We'll take your phone calls, open lines to you for the last half hour of the program as we wrap up my last morning on the Voice of Reason here as we shift to the middays. It's going to be fun as we kind of wrap this show up here on a Wednesday. Stay here. This is the Voice of Reason on KQAM.
Here's the latest from the KQAM News Center.
The Alabama abortion ban passed in overnight session, if signed by Governor Kay Ivey, would become the nation's most restrictive.
It's that baby in the womb, a person. In Alabama law, it's a person. Our people in Alabama voted last fall. We believe that.
There's bill sponsor, Alabama State Representative Terry Collins, a Republican. Alabama State Senator Bobby Singleton, a Democrat, voted against the bill and is questioning components of the measure.
Is that your intent, to send doctors to jail for 99 years, or even for an attempted abortion up to 10 years in prison for attempt, which is not defined what an attempt is?
There are international concerns that the U.S. could be sliding toward war with Iran as it ramps up claims of a growing Iranian threat to America and its allies. British Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt says his nation worries about the risk of conflict unintended by either side. I'm John Trout.
All right, welcome to F-150 Radio. Call from Georgia. Chad, what's shaking in Macon?
I know the F-150 kicks butt and takes names.
Like how the high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy F-150 thrashes the competition with best-in-class towing and torque?
Mm-hmm, not surprised. Totally saw that coming.
Chad, how do you know so much about F-150 beating the competition?
I drive the competition. Got a 10-year lease.
Kind of embarrassing, huh?
Maybe I shouldn't advertise that fact on a national talk radio show.
Good call. The Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
Best-in-class claims with properly configured vehicles. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
Now get a 2019 F-150 with 0% financing for 72 months, only at your Ford dealer. Not all buyers will qualify for Ford credit financing. 0% APR financing for 72 months at $13.89 per month per thousand finance, regardless of down payment. Program number 21038 on 2019 Ford F-150. Not available on Raptor. Residency restrictions apply. Take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 5/31/19. See dealer for qualifications and complete details.
Kansas Mid-America Network News. Well, if you're a Facebook user, the rules are about to change on those live streaming videos. Changes for the rules on live streaming on Facebook kick in today. Correspondent Scott Carr has more.
Under the new guidelines, people who break Facebook's most serious policies will be immediately kicked off of Facebook Live for a period of time, such as 30 days. Several world leaders and tech bosses are meeting in Paris today to find ways to stop acts of violent extremism from being shown online.
Previously, the company took down posts that breached its community standards but only blocked users after repeated offenses. Authorities searching for a man who intentionally hit a police officer with his motorcycle. The incident happened around 3 o'clock yesterday after the Bonner Springs cop tried to stop the motorcyclist for taking a turn too fast. I'm Rick Everett with Kansas News on the Mid-America Network.
April showers, May showers.
Any showers can wreak havoc on your pickup truck's cargo.
Show your truck some love with Continental Truck Accessories and Tough Truck Bag.
When it's not in use, it folds up for storage under or behind the seat.
When you need it, it's ready in minutes. And it's a waterproof, dirt-proof pickup bed storage option.
You can also protect your truck bed valuables with X-Stang Solid Fold
and Encore by X-Stang.
Continental Truck Accessories. We have you covered. 6701 South Broadway.
Online at ContinentalTruckAccessories.com.
Ag producer, get a jump on spring equipment efficiency now in your downtime with MJ's Truck Repair of Mound Ridge. Now's the time for farm machinery downtime maintenance and diagnostic services. So when the crops are ready to go into the fields, you're ready to get going. With diesel engines our specialty, MJ's also takes pride in superior gas engine repair and custom work on all implements. MJ's Truck Repair, under the big American flag off I-135 in Mound Ridge.
Autocraft is proud to call Wichita home for 40 years. We are local and family owned. We believe using locally owned businesses is important to maintaining a healthy community. Local faces being there for you long after the job is done. Autocraft uses local suppliers whenever possible. Eco-friendly products, giving back to local charities, putting that extra smile on someone's face. Autocraft invites you to join us to keep it local. So let's work together to grow a strong and healthy community. Be sure to visit us at autocraftinc.com.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM. For this morning, sunny and clear, high near 87 with winds gusting up to 20 miles an hour, clear and 63 tonight. Tomorrow, sunny and breezy, high around 86, winds up to 30 miles an hour, mostly clear and 66 tomorrow night with again those gusty winds. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 8:35, it's currently 64 degrees.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You're listening to your home for local conservative talk, the Big Talker, KQAM.
Minutes past the hour. Welcome into the Voice of Reason. Great to have you for the ride today as we wrap up today on a post Monday, a pre Friday, celebrating the day we do each and every day. Welcome in 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK on the Shocker Pools hotlines. Andy Hoosier here along with John Wright. Are you ready, sir, for the ultimate transition on the morning show?
I am getting there. You know, running the board for you during this show has been an experience. You know how you build things up in your mind thinking you don't want to blow anything up, and then actually it kind of reminds me of an old board, just simplified a little bit, but just learning the dance.
Learning the dance. It's a lot of fun. Well, as many of you know, we will be transitioning the station a little bit, kind of moving some things around. John Wright taking over the mornings from 6 to 8, doing the news stuff. I will be doing the issue-driven talk, as we always love to do with the Voice of Reason, moving up to the middays from 11 to 2. Starting Monday next week. Now, the reason, though, we're celebrating a little bit today is because today is the last day that I'll be doing the morning show, as Jim Price, host of the Jim Price Show, will be filling in for me tomorrow and Friday, as I will be traveling out to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for a 3-day gun expo and being involved with that out there a little bit, so that'll be fun. And I'll do some updates on social media, maybe do some call-ins on the radio as well and some stuff. But, yeah, it'll be a fun time all around, but we have some phone calls on the line. Let's go to line number 1. Good morning. Who's this?
It's Wallace.
Wallace, what's going on, sir? How we doing?
Well, I'm doing well. So, you know, I was a little troubled to now know that you're going to be on at 11, because it's always been part of my morning. I wake up and I click on the radio, but I've come up with a solution for it.
Okay.
I'm just not going to wake up till 11.
See, I like that. There you go. Just sleeping until 11, you're good to go. No, I appreciate that, Wallace. It's we're gonna have fun, and you know, it's hard to talk about hard-driven issues at 6 o'clock in the morning sometimes, and a lot of people trying to wake up. So this will be, I mean, I think it'll fit perfect. We'll be able to talk about the deep issues, the hard issues, and not have people trying to rub the sleepy out of their eyes, unless you do sleep until 11. So that'd be awesome.
Well, you know, it always got my blood pumping, so that was good in the morning. But so here's a hitting issue for you.
Okay.
Alyssa Milano calling for a sex boycott, and I got to thinking about that. You know, Republicans, we call that abstinence. And please, Democrats, have a sex boycott, because then you won't get knocked up and you won't go out and have abortions.
Yeah, here's the
Thank
thing.
you.
Isn't she defeating her own purpose? So she's advocating for abortion so she can, have the relations and then go have an abortion. She can't have the abortion, so now she wants abstinence. I think she kind of beat her own argument at the same time, didn't she?
Yeah, you're just going to have a bunch of pent-up, angry liberals out there, because the Republican women have, we largely have, responsible intercourse and accept the consequences of what we do. We're going to go along, because this doesn't bug conservative, minded people. It's just But she's just proven abstinence works.
John, I'm
it's gonna be
sensing
funny
a theme for the show today, and I don't know
Well,
why.
I tell you what, this adult activity thing.
So let me ask you this, Wallace, because so we read the story in the very first hour, and then we had a caller bring it back up in the second hour. So now it's brought back up again in the third hour. There was a story of the latest study that the Sun reported on, saying that guys, males, we apparently think about the adult activity on average about every 7 to 8 seconds, is what they say, as an average throughout the day. The newest study shows that men now think more about sports during the day than they do about that adult activity. I don't know how to feel about this. I still call shenanigans on it, but now with the sex strike from Alyssa Milano and the progressive women that are doing, I think that's only going to encourage people to maybe make that back up to be number one, because I don't know how to feel about this.
Well, every 7 to 8 seconds, I think that's someone with low T levels. I don't know. But here's what's interesting, and I look, I love women, I absolutely do, but I got a friend of mine, and he is what you call the ladies' man. I mean, good-looking guy, physically fit, drives the right car, wears the right clothes. Well, and you would be his clone, his doppelganger. But so anyway, this guy is
my wife would say
but he's
otherwise,
also
but
but he's also a big car guy, and we used to drag race a lot before he moved to Dallas for new hunting grounds, I guess. I don't know, but so I asked him. I said, "So come on, I mean, because this guy, I mean, I am telling you, he was a man slut. I'm just gonna say it like it is. The guy was down with the ladies." But I asked him. I said, "So what is better? Just a beautiful, fine woman, spending time with her in a way that you know what I'm saying, to check your T levels, or just making a killer pass down the drag strip? What is it? What's better?" And he's like, "Ooh," he was just like,
he didn't know how to
answer
it.
He was, it's not on. Yeah, and that's very, very interesting to me, because men, yes, we are very much into the physical thing, with women, because that's kind of how women are emotional, men are more physical.
Right.
But when
the eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe it's because he had a slow car, and so anytime he could do something killer on the drag strip, it was awesome. Whereas I had a faster car, so I was kind of like, "Where are the ladies? Where are the ladies?"
You're just
of course,
flying
then
right by him there. All right.
Yeah, but then again, I'm short, fat, bald, and average, so it's not, I'm safe from the Bachelorette or
well, as
the
long as you
Bachelor
got lots of
or
money,
whatever.
then I guess you're fine. I guess I don't know, but no, Wallace.
Yeah, McJack,
yeah, there you go. No, I appreciate it, Wallace. Hang out with us in the middays. Check out John in the mornings, and we'll keep on rocking here on KQM. But I appreciate it, my friend.
Sounds good, brother. I guess smooth sailing, and I'll check in with the morning and give what is it, John? Is he the new guy?
Yes, sir.
I'm the new guy.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'll
Yes,
figure
sir.
you out, and I'll give you some help.
Well, thank you. I need it.
There we go. Wallace, I
Yeah,
appreciate the
you
call.
bet.
I appreciate it very much, my friend. 316-721-8255. Good stuff there. Let's go back to it. Line number 2. We still got another call? Yeah. Oh, we got 3 to go. All right, let's light it up. Line number 2 here. Good morning. Who's this? Hello? Nope. Are you there? Going once? Going twice. All right, let's go to another one here. 316-721-8255. And the other one dropped. All right, give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. It is open lines to you for the last half hour of this show as we wrap up the mornings. Jim Price will be filling in, so we will still have the voice of reason for the next 2 days before we do the official change. But I will be off and traveling, so you'll be able to tune into Jim Price then, and then be able to check out John Wright in the mornings from 6 to 8 in the morning. This half hour of the broadcast is brought to you by Mark Collier and the Allstate Insurance Agency in Goddard, Kansas. Springtime is here. That means the heavy rain, the hail, the tornadoes, disaster lurking around every corner, like AOC saying, "Oh my gosh, there's a garbage disposal." Yeah, that's right. But if you need cover in any way, shape, or form, whether it's your life, your farm, your family, your car, your health, it doesn't matter. You need insured. He can take care of anyone in South Central Kansas or in the entire state. It's Mark Collier, the Collier Allstate Insurance Agency, 204 North Main Street in Goddard, 316-413-4014, or on Facebook at Collier Allstate. Let's go back to the phones here. Line number 1. Good morning. Who's this?
Hey, this is Helen.
Good morning, Helen. How are you?
I'm doing just great.
Good.
Well, and I want to wish you all a happy 71st anniversary of the day when Israel became a nation, which God calls our final end-time fig tree generation.
Yeah.
We're living in the latter times, and it all began in 1948 when Israel became a nation. So happy 71st anniversary.
That's a big anniversary. I appreciate that, Helen, very much. And that's some great info. I forgot all about that. So I appreciate that very much. Have a good one, Helen, and have a wonderful Wednesday. Let's go back to it here. Line number 3. Good morning. Who's this? Hello. Going once. Going twice.
Are you there, caller?
No? All right. That's all right. Give us a call back. We want to hear from you. Phone's lighting up. I like it. So, yeah, John, let me ask you this. And with the news stuff and the journalism side and the idea of, the idea that Trump talks about with the hashtag fake news and manipulated media, coming in from the news angle of it and doing the news stories, and as you're going to read the news stories in the morning and stuff, are you able to see sometimes political slants on one side or the other, on either side of a slant that the journalist had tried to make when they actually tried to report something? And are you able to kind of break through some of that?
You can see some of the through the veil, through the smoke, through the hype of it all. And our goal here will to give the information and let the listener decide.
Yeah, absolutely.
But some, unfortunately, do have axes to grind, points to make, not necessarily looking out for the little person or the
real news.
On the real news, the real issue.
Didn't we used to call that like yellow journalism or something? Yeah.
And there used to be two sides of every story. Now there's all sides of every story. So we're just going to try to get to the nitty-gritty of the story and pass along useful information.
Absolutely. Break through the clutter of the craziness that is, sometimes the biased media and just, like you said, giving the straight information. So we got some other callers on the line there, maybe?
Perhaps. Hello?
Maybe
they dropped out.
That's all right. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead hey, then we got a caller. Good morning. Who's this?
Good morning, Andy. It's Nick.
Nick, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm just listening to your fun show this morning on Free for All Wednesday, I guess it is.
I like it.
It's been very good. But I thought, as just a final farewell to the morning aspect of this, I will be getting some more sleep in my life, so I appreciate that part as far as making sure that I'm up to counteract any negative cannabis comments from my favorite radio show talk host. But I do look forward to checking out John and seeing what he's got, and then joining you to go on the cannabis road again.
On the cannabis road
11
again.
to 2.
And you know what? We're going to have plenty of conversation on it in the middle of the day, so it's a perfect time. So, no, it's going to be fun moving up to that slot. And, yeah, we're going to keep the issue-driven show, talking about the issues and open it up to the conversation all across the board. So it's going to be a blast.
Absolutely, and we thank you for everything that you do on all the conservative front. And like I said, look forward to checking out John Wright's morning program. And we just appreciate your radio station, sir. Have a good day. God bless you.
I love it, Nick. Appreciate the phone call very much, my friend. It's always great to talk to you. 316-721-8255. Why the heck not? Let's take another phone call here, shall we? Line number 2, who's this?
This is Lois.
Hey, good morning, Lois. How are you?
I'm good, Andy. Hey, I just wanted to call and tell you congratulations on your new show, and we will really miss you in the mornings, but look forward to keeping up, and I appreciate all the issues and everything that you've always brought forward, and just keep up the good work.
Hey, well, thank you, Lois. I appreciate that very much. We'll look forward to doing that and rocking it in the middle of the day. So now you get to take a lunch break at work, and then instead of taking the lunch nap afterwards and you fall into the food coma, then we get to try and keep you entertained.
Exactly. Thanks a lot, Andy.
There it is, Lois. I appreciate it very much. 316-721-8255. Let's go ahead and do this now. Why not? We're wrapping up here. We still got some stuff to give away. Hat tip to Toppers Plus. We're going to give away some tickets to Rocklahoma, baby. It's the hot pink one, right? The hot pink one on the wall there. Yeah.
Call now at 721-8255. Right here on KQAM.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, it is. Let's do caller number 3 right now at 316-721-8255. It's the 3-day rock festival, the biggest one in the nation. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Memorial Weekend. And we'll take caller number 3 at 316-721-8255. We got a pair of tickets for you, and we'll get you those. Why? Because why not as we rock out. I mean, they have some of the great headliners. Friday night, the headliner is Shinedown. Saturday is Korn that you just heard there. Sunday, Disturbed. They have so many great bands. I'm so excited about this, and you get a chance to go out there. These are great tickets, and you get to go into the entire 3-day music festival. So we'll do it. Caller number 3 at 316-721-8255. 316-721-TALK and get you a pair of tickets to Rocklahoma, hat tip to Toppers Plus. Do we have our winner already? Oh, man, let's get him on the air and see what's going on there. Good morning. Who's this?
Hey, this is Patrick.
Patrick, what's going on, brother? You just won a pair of tickets, hat tip to Toppers Plus to Rocklahoma. That's going to be a great concert, my friend.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Andy.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Hang on the line. We'll get your information here in a second. And, yeah, you get to here's what it is. And actually, we have some in studio here, is the bracelet. So you get the bracelet, and that is your ticket to be able to get in there for the entire 3-day festival. So congrats, Patrick. We got your tickets. Hang on the line. We'll get your information here in just a second. We'll take a break, wrap up the show today for the final morning that I'll be here on The Voice of Reason on KQAM.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier. Opening markets on KQAM, brought to you by Schmidt & Sons of Mount Hope and Winfield.
Mixed in the livestock, higher in the grains and soybeans. That's where we're going to start our Wednesday. Let's check the ag futures markets. Brady Charles at Schwederman Incorporated has the information all lined out for us. Good morning, Brady.
Good morning. Well, another good start to the day in the grain markets with all grains trading higher. Livestock trading mixed this morning. June live cattle are up 35 at 109.85. August is steady at 106.72. October is steady at 106.47. May feeders are down 25 at 135.75. August down 22 at 142.30. September down 27 at 143.30. June lean hogs are up $1 at 90.10. In the grain markets, July Kansas City wheat's up 10 1/4 at 4.19. September's up 10 at 429.5, and Deese is up 10 1/4 at 450 3/4. In the corn market, July is up 8 3/4 at 377.5. Sep's up 8 1/2 at 386. Deese is up 7 3/4 at 395.5. July beans are up 8 at 839.5. August up 8 at 846. November up 7 1/2 at 864. Bean oil's up 25 at 27.26, and the meal's up 350 at 301.50. Oats up 4 1/4 at 290 1/4. Cotton is down 51 at 66.25. This has been Brady Charles from Schwederman Incorporated. For questions on these markets, any other markets, and all your marketing needs, please give us a call at 800-272-9131 or visit us online at upthelimit.com.
This is Leroy, the tractor man from Schmidt & Sons. I know you've experienced it. While harvesting, you have a breakdown, and the parts won't be here until tomorrow. If you run a Gleaner combine, you have an advantage over others in the fact that when you come in for the parts you need, you can get what you need and get back to harvesting. We have genuine quality AGCO parts, so they fit right and do the job for which they were intended. We are widely known to be the dealer that stocks more genuine AGCO parts than anyone in the area. After all, we service what we sell and back it up with parts. If you don't run a Gleaner combine, why not check us out? We ship AGCO parts daily because of our large inventory. We have you covered with parts and service this harvest. Call or come to Schmidt & Sons, 6 miles west of Andale, or in Winfield on the west side of town along Highway 160. Or you can find us on the web at schmidtinc.com.
The tractor man will be the one, just a turning on the charm with a tractor in each arm. Down at Schmidt & Sons.
A trusted name for quality, that's Burwell Construction. It's the spring storm season, which means rough weather could cause problems to your roof and siding. If the storms hit, remember Burwell Construction. For over 25 years, Burwell Construction has provided quality craftsmanship to Kansas homes with roofing, siding, and windows. If rough weather hits you, call 316-794-3430 or visit burwellconstruction.com.
If it's built well, it's Burwell.
If you're like most homeowners, you've looked up in the attic
and wished you could remove some of that crisscross lumber
to create more room.
Space, the final frontier.
Opening up a whole new area for storage.
So, can it be done? Don't even think about it.
They are called trusses
and are actually critical support triangles,
spaced either 16 or 24 inches apart,
that hold up the roof and form your attic floor.
Or ceiling below, depending on how you look at it.
And each one plays a key role structurally.
And they're not to be messed with.
Truss design is based on the strength of a triangle,
whereby the two angled sides fixed to the bottom
form an extremely rigid support for everything else.
They are structurally engineered for your home,
and removing even one or part of one
can be risky business, leading to sags and creaks,
and maybe even a failure that'll really open up your attic.
Need more room? Think Room Edition.
For more tips, visit our website at onthehouse.com.
Did you know your concrete porch and steps, patio, pool deck, garage floor, even your ugly laminate countertops can be resurfaced with real stone as easily as painting? I'm Peter Deitch, president of Deitch Coatings, and I'm here to say you can. Tastefully accent surfaces all around your home with just a roller and a brush to achieve beautiful, high-performance stone finishes that last. Why wait? Deitch Coatings are available to you factory direct and online at homedepot.com. Plan your next project at DeitchCoatings.com. That's DAICH Coatings.com.
Stay tuned for the latest news all day, right here on the Big Talker KQAM.
Welcome back in. About 6 minutes to the top of the hour. Great to have you along for the ride today. 316-721-8255. Wrapping up on a post-to-post Monday, the pre-Friday, all that. We're right in the middle of the week, and that's kind of nice because it's only downhill from here, right, John?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We can see the sunrise.
We can see the sunrise. Hey, I know as we begin to the transition and doing news stories, you had a news story as we're starting to work out and figure out how the system's going to run and everything.
Yes.
We had a bit of a news update.
We did have a news update, but first...
Ooh.
911 dispatchers are telling us that we had a unknown accident that officers were sent to. This was in the area of northbound Waco, just north of Lincoln. Officers going to check that out, but that should be cleared up by now. That's about 30 minutes old, so we'll not have to worry about that. Temperature right now currently 64 degrees from where we're looking at the present time. Partly sunny out there, looking pretty good. I don't know the wind speed right now, but
I don't see any leaves moving.
No, the trees are very still, so that's a good sign considering the weather that we've had. So that's a little bit of what we had. And we also have an update from Rick Everett with Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Vladimir Putin visit. So here's Rick with that story.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo met with Russian President Vladimir Putin on improving relations between the two superpowers. One topic brought up was collusion in the 2016 election, and according to Delaware Senator Chris Coons, the voice that was missing was that of President Trump.
I think it's good and constructive to have our Secretary of State, who has a forceful personality, communicating directly to Foreign Minister Lavrov and President Putin. But I don't think it's enough. I frankly think this message needs to be delivered forcefully and in person by President Trump as well.
Pompeo did not specifically mention election meddling in his brief reply to Putin, although he did say the Trump administration would protect our nation's interest. Earlier, though, Pompeo made clear that any repeat of the 2016 meddling would not be tolerated. Rick Everett, KQAM News.
Thanks, Rick.
Everybody's still on about the whole Russian meddling and collusion.
Go. Investigations.
Yeah. Investigation. Let's do an investigation on the investigator who did the investigation.
Yes.
Yeah,
Isn't he in jail? No.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, you know, when you find nothing, and then obstruction. I'm always curious. How do you obstruct something that is not there? I am curious about that.
If there's no basis, no foundation, why were all the millions of dollars spent in the first place?
So many years, so many millions of dollars
here in Wichita.
It's ridiculous. See, there it is. Well, that's about does it for the show today. I'll be off again for the next couple of days. Jim Price hanging out for Thursday and Friday to wrap up the Voice of Reason in the mornings. Next week, as we move over to the middays and 11 to 2, Jim will be taking over Monday for the first day as I'm traveling back from Pittsburgh for the Gun Expo. I'll be doing some updates from there. But overall, over the last 2.5 years of doing the morning show, how did it go? How did it do?
You think so?
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!
There we go. Well, now we know. Now we know.
So there you go.
There
the
it
voice
is.
Of the John Q. Public.
There it is. John Wright taking over the morning starting at next week. Until then, everybody, this is the voice of reason. It's time to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. The voice of reason. Hanging out for a couple days more with Jim Price, but we'll be moving to the middays next week right here on KQAM. Everybody have a great Wednesday.
For over 60 years, Rustiak Ford has been honored and proud to serve the state of Kansas. We always put our community first and our customers first. We help our community with our well-known Adopt a School program, the Veterans Village, the Susan Coleman Cancer Run, holiday donation drives for families, events for WSU and Newman universities, and many other worthwhile causes. And we help families find the car or truck they want at a price they need. And in addition to that low price, we throw in zero down with your good credit, interest rates as low as 0%, top dollar for your trade, and 2 years of Ford recommended maintenance on your new ride. At Rustiak Ford, we make the entire ownership experience fast, easy, and transparent. Come see us at Town East and Kellogg in Wichita or visit rustiakford.com.